Guys, wait for me.
Who farted?
You need to
So once you go quarter black, you never go back.
Hundred nights of memory. He has me forehead, and after head goes praise vertical. No matter who he races, he gonna have a head start. From to glow, remembers what happened to Mom. His father stands on the second floor. Why can you still see his forehead with the comments open? Shut his eyes. He got a lot on his mind. He's been told to hold that thought. Sweat tries before it reaches his eyes. He needs bangs. Those imaginations in 4K Ultra HD. If you drew an H on his forehead, Bobby would survive. His forehead says 6'5", but his eyes say 5'9". The most epic heroic song of all time. Bro's forehead has a national anthem. Bro knew this would happen.
Terry Chan's a legend!
What was that? Holy crap! You know,
it doesn't get any better than the forehead national anthem.
Every week,
I was like, I want to
all his life.
Terry Chan learning how to deepfake people has just made him a menace to society. He can't, like, someone needs to stop this man.
He's going to change the world. He will.
He's dangerous in all the right ways.
It is. Welcome to Friday Night Tights, ladies and gentlemen.
Can I just say, I put Garrett in the wash and I lost him.
Yeah.
That soap just worked too well.
Well, at least you got 3/4 of him.
Where the heck does he find the best clips for these things? He finds the most random.
That's an actual. That is a real commercial.
Yeah,
that's a real commercial.
But I've never seen it before, and I just like he finds.
If only it were that simple.
Really,
be a lot less single mothers out there, you know.
We have a lot to talk about, including Glicked, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! Oh my God.
Man.
I
Whatever.
have seen both movies. What were you doing there, X-Ray Girl? What the hell was
I
that?
have a wicked sweater.
Okay, I thought
Ooh.
Showing a
it didn't. It didn't look like you were showing off your sweater there. Calm down, chat. Oh, never mind. Never mind.
Sorry.
Or did I said something? Yes, Glicked. I've seen both movies. We're also going to talk about woke Hollywood being terrified because they're terrified. They're still melting down, and they're all leaving to the UK, and it has nothing to do with all the productions going to the UK anyway due to tax breaks. And
Or Disney tapes going up.
or possibly some.
Why do we have to take them all in? Honestly,
Dude, this is
Good.
revenge for James Corden, for Prince Dickface and what's her face? I don't know. I don't
Meghan
make money.
Markle.
Corden
Meghan
came back
Markle, yeah.
here, and our government donated like $50 million to build him his new studio. I'm like, I never agreed to this.
Listen,
Well, that's your
you guys
government.
got
taxpayers' money at work, Disparu.
you guys have mostly peaceful immigrants running around chopping people to pieces in your streets. Okay, a couple woke Hollywood celebs will be the least of your worries over there.
Yeah,
in the
right.
UK.
Ryan, it's cultural enrichment. I'll have you know. And
That
we
is,
become very
that is
rich
one
from
advantage.
it.
I can run faster than James Corden.
And it's got
so-
nothing to do with draining the NHS or whatever you have over there. Hail
Plus,
Jeremy
once the
Clarkson.
taxes go down here, I imagine some of them might start coming back as well. So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, Disparu, you live in a country where you have to ask a town council if you could take a piss in your own house. That's
Oh, you don't bother asking. The answer's no.
Yeah. I know.
It's always no.
I know. Before we get to our ad reads, I'd like to introduce our very special guest, first time on the show, Metatron. What's
Hey,
up?
hi. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Lovely voice.
Big
Lovely
fan,
hair.
Metatron. I love your historical stuff. It's awesome.
Appreciate. Thank you so much.
Notice the different compliments. Lovely hair, lovely voice. I like your content.
Well,
Everyone else just gets crapped on. Disparu, you look like a weird lesbian with super long hair. So it's just really
Yeah.
oh.
Well, I mean, like to replace Jeremy today, we had to scrape the bottom of the barrel and bring in the
Random
critical
stray
drinkers.
there,
So, yeah.
Sorry.
I needed to
I
start
want to be entertaining.
Yeah. But thanks for being here. This episode,
Absolutely.
this episode is sponsored. We have two. Hopefully I can. Oh, why does it say triple X? Oh, I thought that was porn for a
What have you
second
been
there.
looking up, Gary?
Hello.
Serious X.
Gary,
You should whisk your screen share, Gary. It'll be fine.
But you can't see what it says. So the link says Ray XXX. And I'm like, what the hell am I clicking on right now?
What your link is supposed to be? It'd be like Raycon/Nerdrotic or something. Jesus Christ. Gary,
first time-
after Gary saw Wicked, he went out and bought one of those dolls and visited the website. So,
Yeah.
Dude, I was going to that website long before that fucking movie was even thought of.
because you thought it was the musical.
No, Kenzie Taylor is on that website. That's where
Oh.
the
Captain Marvel parody.
the real Captain Marvel parody,
Wow.
Axel Braun. Yes.
It really said a lot about people when they bought the dolls, and the people were posting it going, and I googled it, and it was, and everyone, I already knew. You could easily tell everyone's past habit.
So our first sponsor will be, speaking of that, Be Naked. Be Naked, everybody. Naked Organs.
Well, if you insist, Gary.
Oh, what have you gotten into? Well, you know,
That didn't take a lot drinking. Holy
I probably should have told you before you came on the show. There's certain parameters for this special episode. I mean, we are covering the Roman Empire, so which apparently is really gay. They say evolution has gone soft, that men have traded their strength for comfort. But if you're not about to let your instincts go dull, it's time to fuel up with something raw, real, and primal. Naked Organs. We're talking pure bison liver, kidney, heart, and testicles. Some of the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet. Bison liver alone packs up to 3 times more vitamin A than muscle meat, along with high levels of vitamin B12, iron, and folate, all essential for energy, immune health, and keeping you sharp. And the best part, you get all of the powerhouse nutrients in a form that's easy to take, no raw organs required. Head to BeNaked.com, use code Nerdrotic, and grab 15% off to silence the noise, reclaim your power, and get back to being unstoppable. Yeah, baby. Thank you. And the next one is it's all this episode of Friday Night Tights, proudly sponsored by Raycon. Little earbuds that I use every night. I use it usually to fall asleep or when I'm going to the gym. Noise cancellation. They're waterproof. That really is important with me because I always forget them in my pocket. They get thrown in the washer and it still works. It's crazy. You can listen to Audible. You can listen to, I don't know, Shadow of the Conqueror on Audible. We might know the author.
Hey.
You know the author? You could. You could. Or you could listen to Game of Thrones, the unfinished series, and just reread it over and over again like I do. And poor Jon Snow is bleeding out at Castle Black forever. Forever. Active noise cancellation, 32-hour battery life, quick charge function, 10 minutes of charging yields 90 minutes of battery. If only vibrators work that well. Ergonomic design to comfortable fit, the widest range of ears plus optimized gel tips for cozy custom fit. I'm sure they're not going to be.
Hold on, do they vibrate?
They vibrate. No.
Oh,
You change the size of the tips, so I'm
how
interested
big are
now.
they?
Look, if you need to go for 50 hours, there's something wrong.
You do get different functions like your vibrator, except unlike your vibrator, you can have like bass sound. It has different sound optimizations. I prefer the bass.
Ooh. More bass, please.
More bass.
It's all about the
That
bass.
creates more vibration. New multi-point connectivity, awareness mode, new weatherproof IP66 and or sweat resistance. Yeah, well, it depends on what you're doing. I mean, you can have your headphones on. I don't know if your partner or your wife or your mistress is going to like that, but what the hell, you know, you got to get it through it somehow. Earbud tap functions to reduce discomfort when using them. Try Raycon today. Is there any? Do I have to?
Ooh, every color.
This is a lot to read for me.
Wow.
Okay.
There's a link in the description for the earbuds. If you're
Check it out.
interested in
And I absolutely love my Raycons. For one, a lot of earbuds, the sound sucks. It's just, it's not, but this one is comparable to like my Bose headphones. In other words, the metal gets loud at the gym. Okay. And it has to be really loud. Like I need to have like ringing in my ears when I'm done.
Yeah, I switch between those and my Samsung earbuds constantly. So they're good.
I get a very different image in my head when you say I really love my Raycons now, Gary.
Okay.
Gosh.
Thanks
Get whatever image you want, Shad. I'm not here to
you
judge.
Put it there, man.
I'm not here to judge.
Now I'm rethinking the whole why are they waterproof thing too.
Well,
You know why.
Easy, white, and clean, Ryan.
Oh my God!
Thanks,
Don't start.
Raycon, it was nice having you as a sponsor.
Look, a workout is a
Thanks,
workout.
everybody. It was good. It was good. You know, while people roll in, I'm actually going to do a video on this, but bring this up, X-Ray Girl. We didn't talk about this, but I think it's important to show that we are winning, to show that the modern audience, the way Hollywood sees it, does not exist. It's always been a myth. There's only been the audience, and that's all there will ever be. J.K. Rowling. J.K. Rowling. Coming up next week will be my very first and not of many Harry Potter videos. So I know Drick are big fan of Harry Potter and adverbs, and
Just can't get enough of it, man. Honestly,
dude, once you pointed that out, man, I'm like, oh God, but I still love it.
this is the thing. You
Harry
can't
Potter.
unsee it. You can't unsee it.
Yeah. J.K. Rowling, HBO says Harry Potter series will benefit. I mean, this is crazy, guys. This is freaking. This is fascism. This is racism. This is misogyny. The Harry Potter series will benefit from its creator being involved. This is insane. I don't know why they're doing this. She has the right to express her views, and HBO and Warner Brothers, in a moment of clarity, because this is America's dumbest company, have decided they have the right to make money.
The thing is, her personal views was the book. So it's like,
Yes.
even as a comment, it's stupid to begin with.
Absolutely. And what are her personal views? What are these controversial views? A woman's a woman. That's pretty much it. I mean, aside from everything else, I think she agrees almost down the line with the progressive left that she just went off the reservation for one topic and now she's completely vilified. And guess what? It hasn't affected her she goes to sleep every night on a growing mountain of money. She starts her fires with $100 bills that were specially printed for her, or whatever, pound notes or whatever the fuck you call them over there, your funny money that's actually worth more than ours. So when J.K. Rowling went public in June of 2020 about her belief that transmission women are are men and transmission men are women. Many of the stars of the Harry Potter and Fantastic Beasts movies, including Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, Rupert Grint, and Eddie Redmayne, immediately spoke out in support of the transmissions and non-binary rights and identity. And in my headcanon, guys, and I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, I think she said okay on this series to completely erase them from fucking history. Which
and that's the
like
only issue she's ever disagreed with them on. Like every other issue through all of time, she's lockstep, but one issue was enough.
Yeah, and the level of hate that they have thrown at her for that stand is actually insane. It goes to show you that, like, you need to only, commit one cardinal sin and you're totally excommunicated. Like, they'd be willing to friggin' crucify Mother Teresa if she went against one of their doctrines or something.
There is nothing that they despise more than one of their own who steps out of line. Because if one person can do it, then 1,000, 100, 1,000 people can do it. And before you know it, you've got a tidal wave of people that are disagreeing about all manner of things. And you can't have that. They have to all think and act and talk in lockstep. Otherwise, the whole system falls apart because you can't have people thinking independently.
That's what makes them a cult.
And it was a really dumb topic to take this kind of stance on in general. There are certainly things that are much less, I would say that are much more divisive, right? You got a lot of people on one side, a lot of people on another that are constantly fighting about different political issues. This is not really one of those things.
Nope.
99% of people in the world think that men are men and women are women, right? Now, that might mean you're fine with people living their lives the way they want or whatever, but in terms of the rule that biology is a thing, biology exists and it is real. That's not actually a controversial statement. It's been made to seem controversial by people in the media and some elitists in Hollywood that are virtue signaling, but it's actually not. So it's a really dumb thing to take a stand on because the vast majority of people in the world have no problem with anything J.K. Rowling has said about this.
Yeah, you can't take these people seriously. Like, if you really want to protest this, stop consuming her product. Leave these fan communities for good. It's
and they have.
She has such amazing responses to people as well when they're saying things like, "Oh, I just burned my copies of the Harry Potter series," and she's just like, "Well, you already paid for them, so I don't really care what you do."
And, Chrissy, I think they have done that. And it's not even a blip on the radar.
They couldn't even do that. When people tried to, there was a big, on Steam, a big group that were all like, we're all boycotting the Wizard game. And then forgot that everyone in this group could see what you were playing. And the admins of the group that set it up were playing the pissing game. Yeah. They love Harry Potter so much, they cannot stop.
She's, in a way, she's kind of too big to cancel as well.
Yeah.
If she'd been a lesser celebrity or a lesser author or something like that, it might have put a real dent in her profits and people might have cut ties with her, but she is too profitable for companies, for studios to abandon.
Yeah, and they must hate that about her.
Well, yeah, the Harry Potter franchise is huge. It remains huge. It's been around for years. It's millennial Star Wars. The books still sell. It hasn't hurt her book sales, hasn't hurt the park and Universal. As a matter of fact, there's a big expansion coming very soon to that, and there'll be a lot more. And if this series is done right, it'll be the biggest series in the world, scripted series in the world, without a doubt, if they do it right.
Yeah.
And Warner Brothers released a careful worded statement that a diverse and inclusive culture has never been more important to our company and to our audiences around the world. Harry Potter's already diverse, by the way, while not mentioning Rowling or transmissions and non-binary people, did at least put some rhetorical distance between the studio and the creative force behind one of the most enduring and lucrative franchises. This show doesn't get done without her involvement. She wouldn't have signed off on it without her direct involvement because she's alive and she doesn't need the money. She absolutely, somebody said it in the chat the other day. She doesn't just have she doesn't have just fuck you money. She has shut the fuck up money. It's beyond what you just said. She doesn't need this. So she's going to have creative involvement, and that, it's on her if the casting gets a little weird. You know what I mean, Ryan? So we'll find out when they cast it, because that will be on her. 4 years.
I'm going to care a lot more about a black Hermione than a quarter black Astrid. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, me. Hashtag me too.
I'll go to fucking. Well, I won't say that. I meant rhetorically, but I will be very upset about it.
I knew what you're going to say.
Yeah.
4 years later, the landscape looks quite different. Under new leadership, Warner Brothers Discovery has aggressively expanded their reach of Rowling's Wizarding World, centered on HBO's impending revival of Rowling's book series as a longtime TV show led by showrunner Francesca Gardner and director Mark Malloyd. Both alums of Succession. HBO chief Casey Bloys told reporters at the press event in November 12th that Rowling was very, very involved in the process, selecting the writer and the director, and her anti-transmission statements haven't affected the casting of hiring of writers or production of staff or the show. And
How
a
strange.
spokesperson for the network said in a statement for Variety, its parent company, that they've been working with JK and in the Harry Potter business for over 20 years. Her contribution has been invaluable. Enough said. That's it. Like I'll save the rest for my video. But
the thing is, though, she is actually so progressive in everything else. She might do the whole Hermione race change stuff.
Well, they did it in the play.
Well, look, for the play, and she did not write Cursed Child. Other people wrote Cursed Child and came to her and asked if they could do it, and she kind of gave her blessing to do it. Cursed Child is fucking awful. Cursed Child is it is an awful entry in the series that makes absolutely no sense, undoes a lot of things. The idea that Cedric Diggory, like the most honorable person, one of the most honorable people and loyal people in this story, like intentionally so, would turn into a fucking Death Eater because he got embarrassed and lost the Triwizard Tournament is so stupid and mind-numbingly dumb.
Yes.
Cursed Child should be ignored in every way.
It is.
And when they decided to cast that play and have a black person player, she made some, I never really said that. She could be black. She's fucking white. We all know in the book she's white. Every single official art of Hermione, she is white. We understand that. And I just hope and pray that they stay to the original instead of giving in to some of that bullshit.
And maybe
I think what she'll do, because I remember during interviews, she said it was very important that when they were making the movies, it was basically all English people or British people, because that's what it would be at the school, and that was what it would be at the school at the time. And you might find her doing a school from today's Britain than the 90s Britain when the story was made, and so that could change it. And she's just like, well, it's an updated version, and try and get away with it that way.
Harry Potter has to stay in the 90s.
It has to.
They can't change it. It has to stay in the 90s.
Oh, they'll always find a way to change it, Ryan. Don't worry.
I know.
Like
I have a. But I remember that they also had already in the original Harry Potter, they had a couple of girls that were clearly Indian,
yes,
British Indian.
Yes.
So
but I think it was the makeup of the country then, and it has massively changed since when the books were written.
Well, sure.
So you would.
It is very representative, actually. There's a handful of black kids. There's a handful of Indian kids.
Exactly.
One random Asian named Cho Chang, the most Asian name they could possibly imagine for the Asian girl.
Like Chinese, I suppose.
Yeah, but when you look at the racial makeup of the UK in the 90s when this is set, it's pretty much spot on. It might even be a little overrepresentative, to be honest. But yeah, and it should stay that way. You've got characters of color who you can have that are in the show that you can give a bit the roles that they're supposed to have in the books in this actual show, as opposed to getting cut from the movies. Dean Thomas, a black character whose role was pretty significantly cut, especially in the last couple books, compared to what he got in the movies.
Lee Jordan.
Yeah.
Lee's always with Fred and George, like always. So
he's their black friend.
Yes. So yeah.
But if they do decide to do it, I hope they go all the way. Not just turn Hermione black. I want to make Ron black. I want to make the poorest wizarding family black. That's
Keep
what
the
I
Cockney accent. Keep the Cockney accent.
I mean, honestly, like Ron should theoretically be the first casualty because it's always the redheads that go first.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Ironically, Cockney accent's dying out in London because they can't afford to live there anymore.
It's just like
Ron to be Rondell.
Because
where did they move? Kent.
To me, I feel like if they're gonna do it, I hope they do it. And it blows them in their face so badly. Because think of the implications of changing Ron or Hermione. You change you change Ron to black. You just made the poorest wizarding family black. Congratulations for going in the stereotypes. What if you do Hermione? I can't wait to see the only black girl get called Mudblood over and over and over.
I know.
I can't wait for the black girl to get laughed at and mocked for coming up with the idea of freeing house elves from slavery. I love it. Just fucking do it. and that's what they don't understand. When you make decisions like that, it does actually have an impact sometimes, depending on the story you're trying to tell.
I'm excited for Hermione.
Hermione.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Well, we already had it in the play, which thankfully I've never seen. Unfortunately, I read that book. It was garbage. I actually threw it in the trash, Ryan. I tossed it. Just
wait, which one?
Cursed Child.
Cursed Child. It's I got the book still, but it's terrible.
I tossed
it.
It's not even a book. It's like stage directions.
Yeah, that's all it is.
I did recently pick these up finally, Gary.
Ah, those are good.
Yeah.
Hey, leather bound.
Look at
that.
My attention.
Ooh.
Yeah, my wife's a huge fan of the series, and I've been getting that for her for like birthday gifts and stuff.
Yep.
She loves them.
Yeah.
We need
I
the
so wish I cared enough
version.
about Harry Potter to invest in stuff like this.
Unfortunately,
No.
they're only doing the first 3 of that. I don't think they're doing any more.
Well, yeah, because
Also,
I
they don't
think
have
the
the first
company,
bar.
the company that was doing it, they like lost the contract or whatever like that, and so I think they have another company that will take over. But the 3 that as they are right now are not going to be.
George R. R. Martin does that too. He always licenses out to a company. They get halfway through, and it's just whatever.
Brandon Sanderson got the rights for the Leatherbound simply because his publisher said it's not profitable. And so he basically said, well, they're worthless to you, can I do them? And then he crowdsourced them, and he found a way to make them profitable himself.
They're bangers as well.
That's the way to go. That's the way to go. But with JK, it's just it's one example of a studio one time based on somebody who's undeniably going to make them a lot of money. Okay, but they said no. They said no, and they're finding they're not really getting any pushback at all. As a matter of fact, her profits are going up, and it will continue to get bigger. And because this modern audience doesn't exist, it never did. It's just the audience. What they needed to focus on was kids who they've completely lost. And you're going to see like scripted entertainment start cycling out because, later millennials and Gen Z, they don't give a shit about TV shows.
I do wonder if it signals like a industry-wide change of attitude towards this stuff. And I say that because a good friend of mine who I will not name, but they've had several books turned into movies and TV shows. They said here in a message to me, I was talking to a showrunner for a series that I'm planning to pitch. She's an industry veteran. And I said, I wouldn't want my show to have any political messaging or stuff like that in it. And she said, yeah, the time for all that has passed.
Oh.
And that's from an industry veteran.
The question is,
I think they know. I think
but the question is, do they know how to do it without the messaging? Because even if they just think, well, we're going to put our morals into it, well, that is politics.
The problem is the wolf's in the hen house already. Okay,
yes.
So what you have is agents, middle management, people who book all this stuff, producers, who HR managers, who all absolutely believe all this stuff. So what do you do about them? And like actors, I just got a big long email. I'll put it in the private chat from a major actor who said,
"Yeah, was this the one you told me about the other day?"
Yeah, dude, it was surreal. But going over it, like they're humans too, and a lot of the problem is that some of them are afraid of their agents now. Like they're afraid of the people who work for them, That's how crazy the environment has gotten. And I was told, Kevin Feige said, we've done our part for King and Country. And that's why the shift, as far as diversity is concerned, and DEI, and that's why the shift is happening. That remains to be seen, because Disparu makes a great point. Like, how are they going to do it? Like, how does that even happen?
Yeah, their heroes are ones that embody the new values that they've basically hired throughout their entire company. And so the hero will be the one that champions equality rather than the one that sacrifices themselves to protect a load of innocent people. You end up with entirely different stories.
Yeah. And then there's other problems to deal with aside from that once that time passes. Like what if and when, like, woke Hollywood, the message passes, like there's still major problems to deal with. And that brings us to Glicked, ladies and gentlemen. Glicked, yay.
Woo. Much more icked than Gleh.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's half Barbenheimer, which just makes it a wicked opening weekend. It's a wicked good opening weekend. Because what are the box office projections for Wicked?
So Wicked, going into the weekend, the traditional person said it was going to be like $100 million opening. Now with the Thursday numbers in, it's now going up to 120 million. And I think that, Box Office Theory had it like 130. I think between 130, 150 domestic opening.
That's pretty good. A little behind Barbie, right? A little behind Barbie.
Barbie was 165, so significantly behind.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like I've been saying this for months, like whenever we talked about this, because I feel like sometimes we get stuck in our side of the internet, maybe. And obviously the percentages on this channel, what do you got? 92, 93% men watching this channel, Gary.
89%.
Wicked, like they are not the target demographic for Wicked. And just because we might think something looks absolutely unbearable doesn't mean that women, including the ones here on the panel, might not absolutely love it.
I haven't seen it.
Wicked is exactly.
Really?
Wicked's a female property, same fucking demographic as Barbie, and they are going to come out in force to see it. Especially if they do a good job of making a movie that's doing a good job of adapting the musical that they like.
And here's the thing,
what it is. So
they really have. My wife watched the musical. She's read the book and she loved it. And look, I saw it. It's not bad. I got to say that's well made. I didn't particularly enjoy it. I find that, that type of thing kind of boring with the musicals, but I have to acknowledge it's actually very, very well made.
Yeah. Between the sets and the singing and the portrayal by Ariana Grande was just amazing. And
I was shocked at her performance, honestly. It was done.
I was going to say, even the black girl, I forgot her name, like
Cynthia
Erivo, yeah.
Like, I actually liked her. She did a really good job.
Yeah. I was surprised at how good a job it was. I came into this film ready to hate it from the background. I like the crap with the marketing and that poster that the actress did. And I don't like Ariana Grande as a person or anything like that. So I was ready to hate this film.
Yep.
And it actually was all right. I gotta admit it.
Wow.
I think, I can sit here and say I didn't enjoy a single second of it, but it was like well made.
It wasn't made for you, Gary.
It was not.
I was talking to Chris Gore about this on Open Bar last night, and I was curious about the length of this movie because it only covers about half the stage plays, like the first half of it. But it's like 2.5. But it's like 2.5 hours.
That's
long.
a lot of adding stuff on to this play. Yeah.
I talked to somebody actually last night who's a big fan of it because I wanted to understand some, and she said that really only maybe she felt like 2 or 3 scenes were there that weren't present in the play. So it's not like they were adding a ton. So maybe they're just lengthening things out.
It really felt like the play. It did.
Well, yeah, and they stretched out the same scenes, but a bit longer. Like my wife was telling me, there's a couple of moments where they can take the time because they got the visual effects. They can actually show close-ups of what's happening, and they can do more with depicting the world. And so they just took their time a little bit on quite throughout the whole film, which lengthened it overall.
Yeah, and ultimately, I said this a while ago when we were having these talks about Barbie. I think Barbie's a little different. That one probably has more actual, little bit of feminist messaging than sounds like Wicked probably does.
Yeah.
But female properties should be made to appeal primarily to women.
Yes.
In the same way that male-dominated properties should be made to appeal primarily to men. And guess what? They're like Star Wars. Star Wars is a male property. Doesn't mean that there's not women that love Star Wars out there. There absolutely is, but predominantly it's boys. It's men that love Star Wars. So if you decide to go out and say, we want to change Star Wars to a girl brand to appeal to girls, they're not going to fucking show up because they don't care about Star Wars. And the ones that do like it and all the guys that love it, they're going to say, what the fuck are you doing? And they're going to leave too. The same way if they went out and tried to make a Wicked movie for dudes, nobody would fucking show up.
Agatha. Agatha is a great example of so many of these corporations buy these properties for the built-in audience, then piss them off immediately because, we need to modernize it. We need to make this thing's been around for fucking decades. It's worked for decades. Just adapt it. That's all you need to do. Do not make Marvel Wicked. It's really that fucking simple. And the Agatha response is it fell off the Nielsen's. Nobody fucking watched it, but they're going in droves. I went to go see Gladiator 2 and it's anecdotal, but I was in an empty theater. I had the theater by myself. Wicked was sold out.
What time did you go?
Yeah.
I went at 2. It just snowed the night before. It was 2 on Thursday, 2 p.m. show. So I wasn't expecting it packed, but I was expecting for some people to be there.
Yeah, we got a private show.
I went and saw
Private
it
show.
in IMAX,
Yeah.
and like that's how you're meant to see it because it's a big epic historical movie with great visuals. You're meant to see it like that, and yeah, there was probably 5 other people in my showing. Like it was empty.
Yeah, mine was pretty empty
Basically.
too. I went like 3 o'clock.
We're not going to get a Barbenheimer phenomenon right now.
No.
I don't doubt that Wicked is going to absolutely dominate. Gladiator 2 is not.
We're gonna see it at a much lower level. I think the Gladiator 2 is probably gonna make. What do you think, Odin? 60 something million, maybe 60 million ish opening weekend.
Yeah, 50 to 60, I would say.
Had about a $90 million international opening weekend last week. So the problem is I think the Gladiator 2 could make an okay amount of money.
Yeah,
the
it's
problem
gonna
is
be
its
okay.
budget.
Yeah.
Like
Dude,
its budget is huge.
310 possibly. I looked it up last night.
Yeah.
12th most expensive movie ever made.
Wow.
If that is accurate, yes.
If
Yeah.
that's
Why?
true.
Because they had to borrow the Coliseum.
Probably.
This movie's cooked.
No, they had to borrow Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
Honestly, it would be
Makes
cheaper to
CGI
build a
sharks.
freaking time machine and travel back to Roman times to shoot this thing than what they've
You
done.
probably could have.
What's shocking?
The strangest decision they made, though, is delaying the American release a week.
Yeah.
And so they heard all the bad publicity and people come out going, this is awful, for an entire week. So I'm not surprised that you
Yeah.
went to empty cinemas over there.
Yep.
Well, I was
Well,
pretty
so
empty over here
just
on
to
the
push
early
back on that a
release.
little. Like my 2 o'clock Thursday showing was 3/4 full for Gladiator 2.
Yeah, it's
So-
anecdotal. It depends
Yeah,
on
it
the region.
depends where you are.
You're in Florida. I'm sure in Burbank, that theater was packed. Absolutely packed. Home field advantage there. But like we're in middle America. I'm in middle America. Right now I'm in Wisconsin. So again, purely anecdotal. It's
Yeah,
gonna
I think
make some money this
It's
week.
going. It's gonna really go after like that older demographic, I think, for the most part, because I mean, starting next week, especially with Thanksgiving, Moana and Wicked are gonna just gobble up the entirety, no pun intended, gobble up the entirety of the family
Like a
demographic, the
turkey.
kid demographic, right? And the older audiences are really going to have Gladiator, but I think the runtime of that, and I don't think the word of mouth has been all that great either, because it's just not a good film. So
And it's
it'll be
it's too
interesting to see
long.
where it falls. Yeah.
Like it's too long since the previous movie to capitalize on any sort of momentum that's got.
Mm.
But it's
Well,
not
yeah.
long enough to like capitalize on nostalgia. So it's like this awkward
Yeah.
middle ground.
When did
I
the
think.
first Gladiator
what
come
it is.
out?
It was like
2000.
2000, so it was
2000,
kind of a
yeah.
long time ago,
2000.
but it doesn't feel like it. And I guess because it's still
Tell
kind
me
of in
about
that
it.
modern era of
Yeah.
filmmaking, it doesn't have like the charm of like a 80s or 90s movie.
So
I mean,
did you guys just like hate Gladiator?
I did not. I cried twice.
I hated
I
it.
didn't hate it.
I
at
felt
I didn't
first.
hate
I cried when I had to pay for my ticket.
I
I
didn't
was too
see
busy
it.
sleeping.
It's
I was too busy
it's just
sleeping.
it's
It was so boring.
so it's
It's
basically a
super-
blow by blow remake of the first movie, but
It's
every
very-
aspect
Good
of it
point.
is inferior.
At first it was, but then after the first maybe hour, it starts to become a different.
So
film.
it is like taking elements and recreating those elements, but also with like, okay,
We're
instead
gonna
of this,
invert things here and there. Yeah.
yes, instead of a gladiator, a guy who used to be a gladiator and is now training gladiators, who starts off as he's just looking to fucking make money from this, and then he turns into slowly this guy who like sees the bigger picture and wants to help him and is willing to even die potentially to get this not only for his gladiator but for this dream for Rome. And then it's the complete inverse with Denzel, right?
Yeah, but you're
Yeah.
still using the
yes.
template, right?
It-
Because
yes,
that
you're
we're
using
in
the
this
template,
just
switching things around.
creative bankrupt era. It's just
And-
content. I wasn't expecting it to
Yeah.
be, for one, Gladiator, when it won Best Picture. If you guys may remember, some of you older guys, is anybody older? I'm just the oldest one.
I
here.
guess.
Remember when it was considered by many critics an unworthy Best Picture? Because it was. That is an absolute fact. A lot of people say if you see unworthy Best Picture lists, Gladiator will always, but I do not agree with that. I freaking love Gladiator. First thing missing, Hans Zimmer. No fucking Hans Zimmer soundtrack. It's like, what the hell?
yeah.
And that soundtrack is a banger.
Except for the
first
stuff they
movie.
borrow, like at the for the member
borrow a
berries,
lot.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
It's just like-
it's a different dude.
But that's
doing
the
it.
best part. That's the best part of the score.
No,
is all the
It's the
throwbacks to
weirdest
his
movie
stuff.
because it is I said it on Twitter. It's the most average movie ever made. I'm not going to say it's bad. Like you'll
Yeah,
watch it and go,
I'd say
okay,
it's not.
I will.
I
Like
think
it.
it's just,
okay.
it's
I
just
hated
bad in comparison to the first one.
To the first.
Yeah.
So, like,
Correct.
if the first one had never
it's
existed, we
not
might be like,
good.
this is okay, I guess.
The majority of
It's also
cast
not
can't
good.
even act.
Yes.
It's like it's one of the few things when you're like, oh, this was expensive. I'm like, okay, I can actually see the way you spent money on this because I think to actually create sort of an immersive thing that looks like Rome, entirely believable. It wasn't like three guys in a field somewhere like a lot of things are. But the acting, the main character, that guy didn't make me believe anything. Just completely deadpan the entire movie.
Yeah.
Well, he alternates between like kind of laughing and joking around, and like these moments where he's supposed to be like burning with rage, but then it just goes, and then he's sad because his wife died, and then he kind of forgets about that and just moves on.
Very good point.
The most telling scene, right? Remember, like everyone remembers the scene where Russell Crowe takes his helmet off for the first time in front of Commodus, and he's like, "My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius," and it delivers this monologue of just pure controlled rage at him. You can tell he wants to tear that man limb from limb. The similar scene that we get in Gladiator 2 is him reciting a poem, but kind of laughing hysterically while doing it like he's drunk or something. Yeah. And it has no impact. It has no meaning. I didn't even know what I was supposed to take from that scene. And he's introducing himself to two people that have never heard of him and don't have any connection to him in the first place. It's not like he's even introducing himself to Pedro Pascal, who was responsible for killing his wife.
He's not speaking when an emperor tells him to speak, and the emperor just goes, fine. It's like, really?
And two of the big major speeches open with them going, well, I'm not an orator, I don't know words.
Know.
That's just to me the scriptwriter going, I know this is awful, but please, I've written it as a reason.
But then delivers like a 10-minute monologue, like as if it was all scripted.
I know Pedro Pascal, the most 5 out of 10 actor in the most 5 out of 10 movie.
Yeah,
I swear to God, like that guy. I don't know why he keeps getting
but
fucking
the little
roles.
monkey was great.
He should have been a
little
monkey.
Yes.
But the monkey is a South American species. It should not have been in the Mediterranean. Not to mention that there is no mention in the sources at all. That
Also, it looked like
a monkey.
Like a
got monkey
sci-fi
check.
version of a monkey. It didn't really look like a real monkey design.
I have to say as well,
it's called a
Denzel,
capuchin.
Denzel was really off-putting because he still talks with his New York accent compared to everyone else. He's got like that kind of theatrical English accent that you always use for like ancient Rome, and there's him just like coming in American. Doesn't give a fuck.
Especially like covered in all the rings and jewelry. He was like iced out.
Yeah, he's proper gangster.
Yeah,
I was expecting him to say "my man" or something like that.
He's this close, man.
He is.
He's still the best thing in it. He's still the best actor in it by far.
He is, but I was disappointed in his performance.
Yes, it's not as
I didn't think it was great, and maybe I just don't love how, for a movie that was that long, it felt like once his plan and his arc started taking off, it felt like things happened really quickly, right?
Really
like
quickly.
Yep.
So I feel like that pacing was off towards the last third of the movie. Overall, it would have been possible for this to live up to Gladiator. To me, Gladiator is like a 10 out of 10 movie. It's a masterpiece. This one to me is like a 5.5 movie. That's how my enjoyment is.
Yeah.
But it's in comparison to that other one, it falls so short. Lucius is just not nearly as compelling a character as Maximus is. I love the fact that they honored like Maximus so much that they like everything that they were striving for was about what him and well, hold on. I liked that so much of the story was about getting to this dream that Marcus had or Marcus Aurelius had and that Maximus had and like bringing that to fruition. But, you know,
Lucius was like,
I think
Lucius was like a sleepy college student compared to Maximus.
Yeah, all of the characters kind of come across as pale imitations of the previous movie. Like Lucius is nowhere near what Maximus was. The two retarded emperors are just like a joke compared to Commodus. Commodus was a really interesting character. Like he had understandable motivations for everything that he did, and like he acted out of necessity. Yeah, he was kind of needy and desiring approval from his father, and he couldn't get it. So, you know, ultimately he flipped out and murdered him. But you understood at least where he was coming from, and he was a dangerous character. These guys are just clowns.
Even though the movie was so long, I would have appreciated like maybe another 10, 15 minutes to give us some more background on like how these two twins became emperor. Like where did they come from?
I think the movie
they were not twins.
They weren't?
Me off.
Also, they were gay, right?
No. So unless what's his name, Ridley Scott, unless he wants to redefine biology and twins are still twins even if they're born on a different year. 189, 188, they were not twins.
Irish
Caracalla was an
twins?
older brother.
Oh.
So there is that. And also, I don't have a big problem with Geta, because Geta is described as being a little flamboyant in the sources, specifically Storia Augusta. So him liking flashy clothes, that's what we are told. Okay. But Caracalla was supposed to be a manly man. Like Caracalla, you see the bust, Caracalla was brutal. You know the scene when Caracalla is all afraid because people are all complaining outside, and he's like, "Oh, they want our heads." You know, Caracalla, he had the same situation with people in Alexandria of Egypt, and he had a huge chunk of the population slaughtered because of it. It was a brutal man. So that is not Caracalla. Geta, I'm good. Caracalla,
Yeah,
They needed
that would have been more
someone like
interesting.
that. Because
Right.
in the general in this, Pedro Pascal's character, it felt like he needed to be the villain. Like it was like
Right.
he hated him. And the starting battle where there's one woman in the entire military,
gosh, the
and he
battle,
specifically
yeah.
points where he goes, "Kill."
That made
her
no
specifically.
sense.
Kill the woman.
That made
battlefield.
absolutely no sense.
But after that, you needed
That's
him
in
to
the-
be evil.
There's
And this
a
is
female person in the Gladiator pit in the first Gladiator, by the way.
No, but
Yes,
it was
there
just like completely out of place. If you're gonna have that, have an entire unit of archers that were women. If you could have,
She
rather
wasn't
than just
even
the one that
dykey.
needs to
They-
die for the entire plot.
I love
be in
how
the
they
movie.
actually gave her boob armor as well. You could
Yeah,
see
they
the way
did.
it was
Hey,
so
good.
terribly new.
So
But after
stupid.
that, like Pedro Pascal became essentially the sympathetic bad guy who wasn't actually a bad guy.
he wasn't actually
Uh,
bad, yeah.
This,
He
this
would
is
have
the
been far
problem.
better
The
just being
movie,
evil. He was
the
a military
movie's-
general that hated war.
yeah, he's a military general who wants to stage a coup against the emperors and overthrow them to restore a republic potentially. Right?
He wants to do exactly what
they did.
Maximus was supposed to do.
Exactly. This is
That's
my
what he wants
point.
to
They split Maximus's character into two separate people who
I
are
did not think of
opposed
it
to
that
each other
way.
when they shouldn't be because they
Interesting.
kind of want the same thing. And it just all it does in this, it confuses the narrative. It creates a muddled central narrative and a central conflict, and it bulks out the story to the point where it wastes loads of time on this. This is why the movie, it doesn't need to be longer. It just needs to be more focused.
Yes.
This is the
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah, it had a friend of mine, my friend Jay out there, shot me a quick text and described it perfectly. It's a rushed third act, a pretty decent second act, and the final act is a complete mess. Like just it falls apart at the end. Dude, that part where, without spoiling too much, there's an army pursuing Lucius, right? An entire army, and then they stop and let him ride by on a horse, and nobody thinks to shoot an arrow or throw a fucking spear at him or
I
something like that. Like, what the
genuinely-
hell?
That fight was so
I genuinely
stupid,
did not
too.
understand. I did not understand
hell
what the
was
script
going
was,
on?
Like they're all
was
just
asking for
waiting
there.
him.
And then I thought Denzel Washington, he is the master tactician. He has been spinning webs throughout this. This is all his plan to manipulate people into getting what he wants. And then what's his final gambit? He just draws a sword and takes on Lucius in hand-to-hand combat. A fucking 70-year-old man taking on a 27-year-old gladiator. Like,
It was
who do
like
you think's going
it
to
was
win?
like Paul versus Tyson all over
Yeah.
again.
It was an
Also that-
unbeatable
that-
gladiator.
Yeah.
Yeah,
His master
and that
plan
never
wasn't much of-
happened.
His
And that
Even
never
Commodus,
No.
when he took on Maximus, had the common sense to stab him beforehand, so he was at a
Right.
disadvantage, and it
But
gave
his
him
master-
a good chance against him.
Metatron,
His
what were
master
you
plan
saying?
wasn't much of a master plan because it was basically just gambling with a guy, and then everything else fell into place. So it wasn't very complicated in the first place, and the entire thing didn't really have a villain without Pedro being the villain, because essentially you've just got the entire empire didn't crumble because people were evil. It was just incompetence, and there's nothing satisfying about an incompetent villain who's just in charge because nobody wants to do anything about it.
What were you going to say, Metatron?
Absolutely. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say the Denzel Washington character, Macrinus, he's real. He's a historical character. And the whole thing that, I don't know your name, so I'm going to say Critical Drinker, if you don't mind. What Critical Drinker was saying is that, yes, the whole political intrigue, that's all correct. But he will become emperor for a year. So he doesn't decide to fight a gladiator like that and die in this. What about spoiler alerts? I don't want to.
Spoiler.
It's Friday Night Tights.
Yes, I suppose. Anyways, that didn't happen, and it's nonsense that they have him die like that. And the character Macrinus, I don't have a problem with them casting Denzel Washington because he may have been black, maybe, maybe Semitic, maybe black. We don't know. And I'm
was
happy.
like the first person from like outside, like from like of a different status of birth to actually come up and become emperor, right?
Exactly. But I want to connect to what you just said now, because at one point they have this sentence that he states, and he says, I was once owned and now I will own an empire. He was never owned. Macrinus was never a slave. Also, he never had a gladiatorial school, but I understand that one for storytelling purposes. But he was not a slave. So he was a man of humble origins that end up becoming the Praetorian prefects under Caracalla. And that is an amazing story to me. Like, imagine a sentence, instead of saying, I'm a black man, so I was once owned, slavery bad. Instead of doing that, which to me is insulting, in fact, why don't you say, no, I'm a man of humble origin, but now I have the command of the Praetorian Guard. And I will one day rule the empire, which he will, for 1 year, and then they behead him. That's a little anticlimactic, I get it, but I mean, maybe remove that part. But I'm saying it's wasted. They added the whole, I was the slave of Marcus Aurelius, but that's not real. That didn't happen. And I don't understand why they felt the need to add it. Black man was a slave. He wasn't.
Because it's two sides of American culture. The second one would be the American dream, that anyone can rise to be like the president kind of thing. Whereas the other one would be the sort of the leftist American shame of this is where the country originated. And so you're looking at two sides of the same coin, but nobody likes being just shamed in a movie that you want for entertainment.
I mean, Ridley, like, just straight up said, you know, the sharks were brought up, you know, that are in the Colosseum.
He's like, because we thought it would be awesome. Yeah.
Well, the Romans did have sharks. The Romans did have sharks.
Some people were saying they didn't know what sharks were, and that's bullshit.
No, that's wrong. They had them. They were farming them in the coast near Rome. But the transportation of sharks would be problematic because of the
that would be difficult. Yes,
depending on the species. The reality is that the sources mention in the Naumachia, so that sort of flooding of the arena, which happens in imperial time, they mention crocodiles and hippopotamus rather than sharks.
Which
Sharks
are way
is
more dangerous than sharks. Hippos would be way more dangerous.
Yeah, like Pliny mentioned it, Marshall mentions it. It's there are a few mentions. The rhino is also fine.
I can't imagine how much money.
They got hurt.
Yeah, rhino's fine.
I can't believe how much money they spent on that water scene, which like did look fucking cool. It was also like just outlandish and crazy, but it wasn't that long. It was like fucking 3 minutes or something.
Yeah.
And then it was done. I can't believe how much money they spent on that.
I can get the desire to show the sheer spectacle of what they were capable of doing in the Colosseum. It's like, holy shit, they actually filled this thing with water and had naval battles in it. Well, yeah, they did. But it's a lot to try and cram into a film.
Yeah.
What did they spend on the water scene?
Who knows?
I'm just
$310 million. Well, the CGI was not great. Some of it was
the monkeys.
Some of the monkeys
looked awful.
Awful.
They
like
were
demonic
terrible.
creatures. They looked like it was bizarre.
Well, like it's shocking because the first film looks so much better as a result because it was just practical effects and stuff.
Yeah.
Because you have janky CGI and also the weird modern Hollywood color grading thing. It looks plastic, this film. It just looks worse. And on the note of kind of the legacy of the first one compared to the second one, especially with Maximus, there's something in this film that has been bothering me that I've only just kind of now connected as to why it's bothering me. It's a big spoiler. So, but hey, we're on Friday Night Tides hit, I guess, warning for the spoiler about who the main characters were already mentioned is Lucius, right, from the first film. But also now he is Maximus's son.
Yes.
Right?
Well, that was alluded to in the first.
That's 100% what I thought in the first
it was
one.
implied.
Yeah,
See,
it was.
I know that they implied a relationship.
It's
but
because you're too good of a person, Shad. You can't imagine that someone would fucking sleep with another woman.
No, it pisses me off because
this is before he met his wife, though. He was in a relationship before that.
Maximus something to live for in the first film. It undercuts the climactic resolution of him
all
meeting
of
his family.
Stuff. His entire sacrifice is undone by the emperor's just completely taking over and fucking up Rome.
Well, that's what I mean about the legacy of this. I think it actually sours the first one significantly.
Shad, he like that's like the first thing he fucking asks. He's like, it was about making sure that Lucius was okay.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like that the boy is gonna be safe.
So, I don't think
like,
that was
a
big,
I think they
even mentioned it in
part
the
of his
trailer.
motivation, what he was thinking at the end. So
I don't think we need the spoiler.
I think
that was in the
I
trailer.
think that was him just wanting to make sure her son was okay. Like if he knew that was actually his son,
he knew
that would have.
He didn't want to even kill someone in front of him. Like he didn't want to do any violence in front of him.
So the just they repeat the damn story. That's all it is. It's Chris had the best description of it. It's the Force Awakens of Gladiator. That's all they do is they invert a couple of characters. They repeat the same themes. There's even a failed escape at some point, or failed. They were trying to break Lucius out, and they failed doing that. I mean,
I
it's
hated that scene.
I know
where they've all got hoods up, and every single person gets taken out instantaneous. No idea who he is, but they leave
it's
the
like,
one
oh,
guy
these hooded people are not suspicious. Don't look at them.
Arrows are super accurate in this movie. Like,
well, when they took in the
when a certain character gets turned into a fucking pincushion, and the dude right next to him doesn't get a single hit.
There's one that goes like here past him.
Watching him,
by the way, my favorite scene. That was my
favorite
scene, by the way.
Watching him fall over was low key funny because he couldn't even fall right because like the sticks were like breaking his fall.
Yeah.
Also, the primary motivation of this film is the same. Like it starts out as a revenge thing. His wife was killed, but it's amazing how much of a massive misstep the second one is in regards to the vulnerability of the innocent being taken in the first one. Where this one, it was a woman who chose to be in battle of her own volition and was a legitimate casualty of war. She literally killed, one of the generals, and in response, like, oh, she's a threat, kill her.
Right.
And it wasn't like the first one was an unjustified, non-military death.
Punisher origin,
where the evil guy purposely targets the family just to be an ass and an evil scumbag, and then they have this great build up with Maximus trying to save them, and the suspense that will he get there in time, and that they're completely vulnerable, they can't protect themselves, and then when that's right, it has such emotional kick, right? That is just not even close. It's such a foreign concept compared to the second film.
I mean,
where it's nothing. It's like she's a legitimate military target now, and she's on the battlefield of her own choice. And it's not even necessarily like an evil thing where it was a reprisal for, it's all upset.
I think Pedro
Lucius doesn't seem to care that much either. Like he gets over it in like 2 minutes and then barely brings it up again. It's weird. Like he allows him when he's cradling her body in his arms on the beach, and then like a couple of Roman soldiers grab him. He just lets himself get led away. He doesn't try to fight back.
He like pushes her back out to sea.
He's got that broken arrow in his hand. He doesn't try to stick one, and I was like, he's going to try to stick one of these guys.
Yeah, he's going to do it with this arrow, surely.
That to me, Shad, what you just described is like that's the weakest part of the movie. Is that Lucius's motivations aren't. Like it doesn't make him nearly as good of a character as Maximus. Maximus has the combination of the revenge story for the true murder of his wife and son, whereas Lucius, yes, military target. At the same time, you can talk like that is kind of the commentary about what the Romans are doing, trying to expand the empire, trying to take over this free city, kind of thing like that, right? So that might be why it is military target, but you're still pissed off that the Romans are doing this. And then the other one is Marcus Aurelius wanted Maximus to take his armies, return the power back to the people, per se, really the Senate, but make it a republic again. So it was this combination, this promise that he made to someone who was a father to him, combined with the murder of his family, the revenge plot, and for Rome plot. And Lucius just doesn't have that. And they try to use elements of it, but it's not nearly as compelling of a protagonist.
Absolutely. And on top of that, just on top of that, right, is that in the first one, they gave you hope that there might be something redeemable about Rome, for the glory of Rome. Everything that Maximus fought for might be preserved if he gives freedom back to Rome and removes this evil emperor. The second one, they make you hate Rome. The protagonist hates Rome.
Yeah, it all gets undone. Like whatever suddenly, promise at the end of that first movie is gone, and it all went to shit.
Yes.
So Maximus died for nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Not to mention that even this idea of, oh my gosh, free Numidia, we need to prevent Numidia hadn't been free since 105 BC. So 300 years before is when that battle happens. The last bastion of freedom in North Africa is Mauritania, which is modern day Algeria and Morocco, so west of Numidia. Numidia would be in Africa Proconsularis, so basically where you have now, I want to say Libya a little bit, just to have an idea. And they weren't free. That thing happened with Gaius Marius 300 years before the setting of this movie. When I saw that at the beginning of the film, I thought, okay, I'm watching Warhammer Fantasy. So once you come, and at the end of the day, you've got Skull Crusher of Khorne on top of Rhinoceros anyways. It's like blood for the blood god, skulls for the throne of Khorne. So at the end of the day, it's fantasy. So the chronology is completely out of place. It's just there's nothing like it's Claudius is. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, the first one, obviously, the Emperor Commodus doesn't actually get killed by
of course.
Maximus Decimus Meridius in a gladiatorial pit. Like, that doesn't happen, right? Like, the first one is very much Roman history with an element of where it's changed these things around, change this character around, and create our story within the space. Yeah,
it's called a historical fiction, and it's common enough. But the thing about historical fiction is it needs to be grounded in some measure of history for it to really be sold. And I think the first one did this. This one has some truly retarded crap for its historical period. Freaking had trebuchets like 300 years before that.
Yeah.
I was like, what the freaking hell is that doing there?
With the counterweight.
I know. And it's got crap like that, like speckled throughout, where it just makes it, you can't even take it seriously if you're into history at all.
My favorite was the saltwater sharks in the flooded arena. It's like, how the hell did they get saltwater, let alone sharks there?
That's the problem. Well, they didn't have sharks in the arena, but as Metatron pointed out, they did have sharks. No, I would have gone with hippos. Again, hippos, way better idea. Just they probably didn't have the budget.
Hippos,
they only had $310 million, guys. Okay, that's all they had. That's the thing. I think Mahler pointed this out. This was shot during the strike. So if you look it up, it says, there was a 5-month shoot. No, it was a 55-day shoot for this movie. Whoa. 55 days. So 2 months. So they did. And they finished principal in January of this year.
Okay, well, I can respect that. At
wow.
least
that's amazing.
Dude, the fact that 86-year-old Ridley Scott finished a movie at all is fucking amazing. Like, I'm not going
to... He was helped by aliens. Xenomorph.
To be fair, I kind of wish he wouldn't finish anymore.
I wish he'd stop.
This has got to be the final nail in the coffin of him as a filmmaker. Like, please.
Oh, that's a bad. Come on.
Yeah, he's definitely past his prime.
He's 86. Nails in coffins.
No, I agree with Drinker. I agree with him because Ridley Scott despises historians. So I have a problem with the man.
Yeah,
and mathematicians. Apparently,
Metatron wants to hammer the nail in the coffin.
Absolutely, with bronze.
No, I think it's like it is. I mean, it's total fantasy. That's why I walked into it. But I think it's awesome because I'll watch your video and I'll listen to Shad stuff because then you learn the real history, which is it ends up being cooler, much cooler.
I do have to ask. On ships, the towers on the ships that land on a wall, is that as stupid as it looked? Like
it happened like once historically from my references, but it is pretty retarded. You need very specific circumstances to make that a viable military strategy, which it happened, like I said, like once, maybe twice, like not often. But the way they showed it in the film is just bonkers stupid, where they have small ships with small detachments of soldiers on those ships, which means even if you get one in place, there's a very limited amount of soldiers can get on the wall now, and most likely they'll get destroyed or taken out. You need a massive one with a huge detachment of soldiers gone. And also, they didn't show that it was the only, it looked like there was other viable approaches to the city. And so when I saw them approaching on the boats with these stupid small siege towers on them, I was like, this is so retarded. I'm watching one of the dumbest sieges I've ever seen.
Yeah, just when you're looking at geography wise, it would be very tough to have the right conditions where you can take a ship like that close enough to a wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not necessarily usually going to be building something like that, a structure, when you have a drop off. You can actually bring the boat that close.
The thing is, if it's a coastal city that you want to besiege, like fine, blockade it with your ships and then land your troops on shore and have them encircle it. Like, surely that's a lot easier.
Mm-hmm. And once again, the Romans controlled everything else around anyways. Even if this was 300 years before, they controlled everything. So already, sort of, almost, except for Mauritania at that point. So yeah, you can absolutely do that. It's a good point.
Oh, they even showed the bridges that fall down from those siege towers. Not even long enough to extend past the front of the boat. The way they showed it, like they just magic editing that now they're suddenly reaching the wall. They wouldn't even reach the wall. There was so much retarded crap in that siege where I think I'm going to do a dedicated video.
Did you see the bronze helmets of the soldiers, the Numidian soldiers? That they look like they're literally from a museum because they have the patina. The green patina. Yeah. And I mean, I love it. I love it. I mean, if any museum wants to gift me one, I will gladly accept it and keep it in that condition. But the sources tell us that they polished bronze constantly.
It's so crazy when you see those helmets, Metatron, and you see how small they were.
They wouldn't fit. Yeah, they wouldn't fit.
Hey, I know the Greeks did it, but did the Romans paint their statues as well in period?
Yes, very good point. All the statues in there are white. They should have been in color and painted with pigment. Same for the temples. They shouldn't be white. They should be blues and reds, bright colors. Roman polychromy is everywhere in architecture, absolutely. The only difference would be bronze statues, because they would use the different chromatic varieties of bronze depending on the constituents to create different colors, because bronze can be yellow, can be reddish, can be brown, has different, depends on what you put inside. So the bronze statues wouldn't be painted, but all marble statues should be absolutely in color. So that also puzzled me.
At least in that, to kind of immerse an audience, I think there's an element of you have to give them what they expect rather than what's accurate. Like I remember NASA put out pictures of Mars, and people complained that it wasn't red, and no, it's not actually red, even though it's called the red planet.
Not,
so they went and they photoshopped the pictures so they were red.
They made them red forever, and they finally stopped recently, and it looks like the California desert.
So I think you do have to. People have an image in their head of what Rome looked like, and so that's probably what they're going for.
To me, I'm like, screw the audience. We need to.
Yeah, me and Shad are not going to agree with that. Me and Shad, but then again, we are nerds.
But I get what you're saying.
All the hieroglyphics were painted too in Egypt. They were painted. They weren't plain.
Talking about that, did you see that the commemorative building section for Maximus Decimus Meridius has a thing written on it in English? I was amazed.
Oh, did it? Really?
It was next level retardation.
It was American.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It's my favorite thing about American movies.
Even the lettering looks
we can't even read English. What's the point?
Even the actual lettering looks really simplistic. Like it's a kind of child's cartoon style of writing.
Yeah.
But they were they were retards. They were just the gladiators that wrote
But then you've got
the dumbest of languages.
Major buildings and stuff that you see throughout the movie have Latin inscriptions on them. So it doesn't even marry up. You've got this mixture of languages within the movie.
There is one more room with Lucilla, who, by the way, died in 182, so she should be dead. I just needed to say that. But she enters this room, and once again, the poetry on the walls is in English. And I don't understand that choice because it kills my immersion. Maybe I'm the only one who cares. I don't know.
It was strange when Lucilla put some clothes in a washer. I thought that was pretty odd.
Did you see the guy? Did you see the guy sitting reading a newspaper in what appeared to be a modern Italian cafe? I say as an Italian.
Yes.
I was like, what on earth is going on?
Did Romans print newspapers? Did they have those?
Then a printing press? What?
Free Capua.
Would you like a cappuccino?
Sì, cappuccino, grazie.
Grazie.
Denzel,
prego.
Denzel used that one dude's gambling addiction to take over the fucking Roman Empire.
See, I find that retarded. He just bumbles through the film and everything falls in place perfectly. No one saw him help the other emperor, murder the other emperor, and so many of his actions could have backfired massively, especially when he kills the second emperor. Hang on, that guy was the only one who was enforcing your authority. You get rid of him, the Senate and the army, they're not going to follow you.
And the monkey, no.
Also, the story claims that it was all like a Machiavellian plan. He was really getting this guy underneath it, on the gambling hook kind of thing. But that guy's information about the betrayal and whatever, he didn't know anything about that at all. So the one key bit that actually set everything off wasn't planned for. It just coincidence that
it just kind of happened on the idea. Yeah, he stumbled upon hearing that and was able to kind of take advantage of it to
What
It doesn't help when you
kill-
have characters that are just not even compelling enough to care about. Like these things happen to them. You're like, why should I care? That's why it put me to sleep. It put me to sleep for like a quarter of the movie.
Aside from the lead, it's got like Derek Jacobi's there, like, and they kind of do nothing with him. I'm like, hey, still alive. That's awesome. But yeah, they kind of do nothing with him. I mean, he looked pretty healthy. Good dude's old, but he's been old forever.
Dude, like Connie Nielsen has barely changed since the
she
first
looks
movie.
great.
Yeah.
She looks hot.
Yeah.
When they did like the de-aging stuff, you could like kind of almost barely notice like those.
Must be the easiest job in the world doing that.
Yeah, I will say that because they had the couple images of young Lucius and a couple like flashback sequences.
Yeah,
and it looks spot on. I watched Gladiator like the day before I went to see Gladiator
it this week too. Yeah.
And it was it looked exactly like the kid, and she looked great. That's one of the best de-aging. I don't know what they did for the kid, but for her, it's one of the best examples we've seen.
Oliver Reed, who played Proximo in Gladiator, went out like such a fucking man. Like, did you hear like the story about how he died?
He drank 2 bottles of Navy rum and about 5 pints or something, and then challenged sailors who were in port there to an arm wrestling contest, beat them, felt a bit unwell, and then just fucking keeled over and died.
That's fucking awesome. Like, damn.
Wow.
That's drinker's goal. That's the way.
He's just looking for sailors.
Kill that
I've got a little
second
shrine to him.
emperor. When he killed the second emperor, what was that? Like an Allen wrench, like something out of an IKEA set? Like it was like a little.
It was just like a little needle thing, basically.
It was a little
bit in
ridiculous.
front of an entire coliseum full of people, and nobody.
It
knows.
makes no sense.
Well, at that point,
Makes no
everyone
sense.
was fucking running away, right? That was during the massive mob chaos. Yeah.
So I'm guessing he had syphilis. Did he have syphilis?
I think
syphilis.
so.
Yeah. They say. By the way, Caracalla probably didn't. I didn't find any mention of that. But yeah, syphilis, I think, would be my guess, since they say from the loins to the head.
Yeah,
I believe that what it would be. But the real Caracalla got stabbed in Parthia by a soldier. He was assassinated, but not like that. Parthia being modern day Iran, for those who don't know.
I love the fact that they had the gay dude not only have fucking syphilis, but also just be batshit insane. That was my my favorite choice they made.
Yeah,
also because he wasn't like the real one, so it's kind of strange to choose that.
When you have an 86-year-old director, like there's no fucks to give there, like at all. I directed Blade Runner and Alien. Fuck you. I'm just gonna do what I want and fuck up whatever franchise I want. And that's what he did. You know, he's no stranger to it.
He is slowly making his way through all the old franchises, isn't he? Like, he's destroyed Alien. He's now destroyed Gladiator.
They said
going to let him have a
Romulus
go
is
at Blade Runner again?
Oh, gosh. I thought Romulus.
A lot of people liked Romulus. I think Romulus is a lot like Gladiator. I think at best it's mid. It's repeating a lot of bullet points from previous franchises, and it's a byproduct of this era, of this creatively bankrupt era we're in, that we're still going to have to deal with, like when and if we move past the woke message part. There's still the corporate aversion to anything controversial or trying anything original at all. I mean, can we try to adapt a book that hasn't been adapted yet, or maybe come up with an original story instead of just remaking? I mean, we're like live action
the Quran.
Yeah, we should. I think that's a great idea. But no, we're getting like CGI remakes of animated. They're gonna like reverse that and make animated remakes.
Same with
like
video games. There's no originality.
Like fucking.
I mean, there is.
Copies of copies of copies of copies.
Only indie. Indie is what gaming used to be. Indie developers.
Yes, like Wicked is an adaptation of. By the way, it's 2 parts. It doesn't say on the poster part 1, as far as I know. It doesn't say Wicked part 1.
My wife got blindsided by
Dude, a lot of people in the theater got blindsided about that. They were like, "What?" Even though it says part 1 in the beginning of the fucking movie, it says part 1 right there. But no, even Wicked is the first part of a 2-part adaptation of a play, which is an adaptation of a book, which is essentially fan fiction from another book.
Yes, which is revisionist fan fiction of Wizard of Oz. Yes, that's great.
But it's going to do well. It's going to do well.
I think it'll do it, and I think it's a fair enough one to, make into live action, because it hasn't been done before. And it shows that if they try and adapt something properly, and it looks like it's a good adaptation, it can do well. And so, all right, Hollywood, look for things you haven't adapted yet. stop with the remake bullcrap.
We got to give credit. We got to give credit to J Mac, who left a super chat the other day, who pointed out the one animated movie that will not get remade into live action. It is safe. Song of the South.
I have a feeling, that was going to happen.
I mean, Birth of a Nation probably won't be made into a cartoon or CGI either, so I think that one's safe too.
Give it time. You never can tell.
It's Ryan's favorite movie.
Just because we mentioned like something happening out in the open in Gladiator, right? When the main character gets the crossbow and is aiming at Pedro Pascal and misses and almost hits one of the emperors, he did that in front of everyone. I was like, oh, okay, he's executed now. Everyone saw him attempt to kill the emperors, and then
well played.
You could probably make the argument that like it's right in the middle of a really complex battle that's going on. There's just so much confusion that you wouldn't really be able to tell who did what.
Maybe
we see him because he's center frame and the camera's right on him, but like people in the arena would just see a bunch of guys fighting on this ship. So I can sort of get the excuse there, but it is a bit bullshitty.
I think someone must have seen him, especially if they're focusing in on the action and they see this bolt nearly kill. Like if a bolt nearly killed the emperor, wouldn't the question be who shot that thing?
If they're insane, would they even care? All of them. I don't want any of them to ever fight again. So
they
just annihilate the entire group.
Mm-hmm. And so there's baffling things like that. And then when you combine it with the two major motivations, the revenge for the wife and the saving of Rome, are just retarded in terms of the investment. I didn't give a crap about saving Rome. I wanted to see it burn because they showed the city to be this unruly mess that is just slaughtering everyone. And I didn't care about the wife. They just showed he didn't care about the wife, and so I didn't care about anything in the film. It was just a boring, attempt at a remake that fell flat and was nothing.
Yeah, I think it'll be just forgotten, like so many movies in this era. It'll probably do fine. It'll probably have a decent opening weekend. I don't know what kind of legs it'll have. Chris Gore mentioned, I don't think he's wrong. Like Wicked might have as good or better. It could have as good. Like, listen, I didn't like the movie. Okay, I sat through it. I could recognize it's good, but I didn't like the movie. I went with my wife. All right, but it's Thanksgiving weekend's coming up here in the States, and it could do very well over that 4-day weekend.
Moana's launching as well on Wednesday. So
oh shit,
it's gonna be a huge weekend.
Odin brought it up correctly that's gonna be big, and
yes,
if there's any audience crossover, it's definitely gonna be like the Moana Wicked audience.
Yeah, for sure.
So with families and stuff like that,
dudes could stay at home, watch football.
So are we really talking about Mo Wicked rather than
yes,
Glicked?
Yes,
yeah. But obviously both of them are here for the holiday haul, so. We'll see what they do. There's obviously, it's not like they don't have anything that they're up against. Moana's going to be massive. Moana's going to have probably the biggest Thanksgiving opening we've ever seen for a movie, if I had to guess.
Yeah, and I think that international is really the question mark, because if international is matching up about where it typically matches, which is like at least 50% like comparison of the entire overall take, or probably more because international tends to bring in a little bit more, we could see $2 billion films in both of them, like one for each, and they're only a week apart from each other. So I think Wicked gets to $1 billion first if it has good international. We still don't quite know exactly how it'll do there, and then I think Moana would hit it after.
Yeah, the Wicked one is the one I don't know about, because I understand how American women feel about Wicked. I don't know about the draw internationally. I don't.
UK
will love it.
I think it's going
to because of West End and because of the global. Like, this is a global brand. I mean, even like in Asia, there's huge productions of this, and people go to see it. So
we have the production's been playing in London for like a decade now. It's
multiple decades.
Yeah, added with the fact that it's going to have good word of mouth because it is a very well-made film, and the actresses do like we've mentioned, a legitimately good job. Ariana Grande shocked me how well she played Glinda. I got to mention her. Like, maybe she's just really, it's a natural thing to play at airheaded knit, but she knocked it out of the park.
Is it bad to say it made me think of Krista Nova?
Oh my God. Every time she did the hair flip.
Yeah.
Like, it was her natural role. She was born to play it.
And I saw some of her like audition tapes and stuff like that for it when she was singing. Like, she was a good pick for the role, not just because, oh, Ariana Grande, what a big name. I don't really care about that, but I just feel like in general, because she can sing and because she plays that part well, she works.
Just needs to eat a couple of cheeseburgers.
Yeah,
You
Jesus
could see
Christ.
her like ribs.
Weird. I'd
here.
go for a cheeseburger now.
I could too.
Maybe she has maybe she has fucking cancer. We're all judging about Chadwick Boseman, so hey, but also maybe it's for a role. Maybe she's doing a Joaquin Phoenix type of slim down for a role.
She doesn't quite strike me as like intense method acting, like dramatic shit.
Yeah, maybe she is. Maybe her next role, she gains like 200 pounds.
She weighs
version of the whale.
112
She'd be like
pounds.
the Christian Bale of like the pop world or something. Like, Jesus.
Who knows? Who knows? Oh, I was about to go to the next subject.
I can guarantee if Ariana Grande gained 10 pounds over the next 2 weeks, everyone would be calling her fucking fat.
I know, dude. You know they would.
Yeah.
The same people who would complain about people body shaming would call her fat. It would be the same thing. And you would too, Ryan, by the way.
I don't think I would. Not 10 pounds.
Not 10 pounds. Well, I think she
11, hell yes. But
12.
Oh, okay. So I want to talk about this Jaguar commercial that everybody's talking about. That was in our intro. Paul Chato made a video. I love Paul Chato. Hail, brother. Talked about the possibility of it being a troll, and if it was, it would be the greatest troll of all time. If they came back and did some manly, like practically Bond getting into a proper Bond, getting into a Jaguar, that'd be great. I don't think so, but the thing is, like, we don't know in this era. Like, we have no idea. This is a major marketing campaign and a major brand shift. I know some people said the stock went down. I don't think it did. I don't think it did, but maybe it did. I don't know. I checked the company that owned it. It didn't look like it was going down to me. But yeah, here's the commercial. And we have an interesting juxtaposition that happened because another car company came out with another commercial after this. So this is unbelievable.
I hope it's a troll. I really
God,
do.
if it is,
There's no way it's a troll.
Here's the thing, right? If you were going to make this
We
a
are
troll,
talking about it.
you would have the payoff within the same advert. Okay,
Yeah.
you'd start off like this, and then like some big manly guy would just like stomp his feet and be like, "What the fuck is this bullshit?" And they just get in his awesome Jaguar and drive away.
I want them to walk up to a Jaguar, and when they get in it, it makes them all these Chad businessmen, traditional-looking guys.
Yeah.
Jaguar, it makes you a man. Or something.
Because if you just roll
That's
this
a good
on its own, like what opinions can people form except Jaguar is shit now?
Yeah, this is the same problem Hollywood has. They've hired people in their marketing department who aren't their audience. And so they made an advert for them rather than for their audience.
They had an awesome 2015 commercial where it's all like British spies, and that spoke more to their brand.
That was great. Yeah.
Yes, that's what it's supposed to be.
This one speaks to. I feel like this one speaks to people in London, doesn't it?
In the certain parts of London, yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't speak to everybody else.
I didn't mean
Jeremy
British
Clarkson.
people. I mean people that live in London right now.
Oh,
Yeah, but I think if you walk down the street
Good
like
point.
this in London, you'd still get stabbed. I don't think it'd save you. They also changed their circular logo to something which I don't even know what it's meant to mean. it's just like JNR. It's bizarre.
This is a car commercial, ladies and gentlemen of both genders. You can hit play. Create exuberant.
With the least exuberant text.
Shurigawa.
I like the intro better.
I truly hate modern art.
I do too.
Yeah.
The amount of people that had to sign off on this is
incredible.
It is like when you go to a museum and you're like, I know I'm supposed to be impressed by this, but I don't get it and I don't like it.
There ain't even a car in the fucking ad.
No.
Here's the thing, right? Conceivably,
is it a car?
could they be desperately shooting a commercial right now? They're going to follow this up with
Well-
that will do all this stuff that we talked about, and then they'll be like, "Oh, we totally meant to do this the whole time."
Well, they're not even selling cars right now. They're kind of retooling because they want to go and push everything to EVs.
EV and then lifestyle
the EV
brand. Everything's
audience.
and that whole lifestyle brand bullshit that's being pushed. Harley Davidson did that too, right? You brought up so there's a Volvo commercial. We can't play the whole thing. It's super long.
Yeah,
but
it's fucking great.
Oh,
It's fucking great.
really good. It's
Yeah,
done
it's
by
a
the
mini movie.
cinematographer
It's
from
awesome.
why did I say? I almost said Barbenheimer. Oppenheimer. And it's really good. It's really good. But we do have Shane Gillis did a commercial for Bud Light. So did you
Which
see
one?
this?
That I've not seen.
This one's pretty good. Hang on. I can share
This is
the
the
screen.
football coach one.
Thank you.
No, this is. Could you just pop it in to share? Tell me when it's in there. Stop it. Stop. There we go.
Okay, it's up.
Oh.
There's a wall going.
Damn it, woman! How dare you do what I told you to do? There we go.
It is not just a fragrance. It is a feeling. It is a passion.
What? Oh, where'd you get snake?
We are all lost,
Yeah, I'm lost. I'm 100% lost here.
but we are on an edge.
Hey, all right. This is pocket full of sand.
Pocket sand.
Pocket sand.
I think I'm in the wrong commercial.
What?
Yeah, dude, this isn't right.
Wait, aren't you Andre?
No, I'm Shane. My name's Shane.
Huh. Oh, I see what's going on. You're supposed to be in a Bud Light commercial.
Oh, I'm supposed to be in a Bud Light. I'm supposed to be in a Bud Light commercial, not here. So that's why I'm the odd one out down here.
Well, if you're here, Andre is.
Love it here.
Oh,
Something is different about you, man.
A lot different than Dylan Mulvaney.
oh wow.
I just ordered some wings in that other commercial. You think they're gonna make it here? You guys like wings? You blue cheese guy, ranch girl? You're a ranch girl.
She does look like a
Feels like
ranch
blood or
girl.
She does look like a ranch girl. Nice snake there.
Wow.
Big difference.
Yeah, he's been doing a couple of those. There's one where he's like a football coach or something. Show it all the time during NFL games. But yeah.
Well, here's the question: does this redeem Bud Light in your eyes?
I don't think so.
No.
I mean, it's still
booze, I
shit
don't
beer.
care.
There's no arguing
Should
against
never
that.
forget.
No,
It would take a little more of this to be like, okay, they understand they fucked up. Like, it would take a while.
If the
It just
company
makes me
came out
want to
in-
go see Shane. You know,
Shane's awesome. Imagine a Saturday Night Live. I'll even miss with like Shane Gillis as a regular cast member, Kurt Metzger, Tony Hinchcliffe. Dude, it would be fucking great. Chrissy Mayer, you could be the token woman.
So you're saying imagine if Saturday Night Live was good or Saturday Night Live was good again? Is that what
Yes.
you need better writers though too.
You would. Kurt Metzger would only make it like a half a season before he got fired, but like,
But it'd be a great half a season.
but it'd be a great half a season. It would. It would. Yeah.
Is that still like a dream for comedians, Chrissy? Like that,
No.
I mean, 20 fucking years ago, like that was
No,
everyone's like,
it's
oh
really
my gosh,
not.
being on SNL would just be the best thing ever. Does anyone give a fuck about
No,
that now?
you'd make it quicker by just blowing up on TikTok the way Matt Rife did and just cultivating your audience that way. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like structured comedy now, like because the goal back in the day, Chrissy, was getting a sitcom or getting on SNL, and like
You get a late night spot, then
Yep.
maybe you get an SNL, then you're set. You know, you get
a
on a
special
sitcom.
on
Yeah.
HBO or one of the cable networks. Get on Comedy Central much later, but yeah, the goals are complete. Now you're on your own. Now you just got to hustle, and you're on your own, and it's better that way, honestly, for comedians, because they won't, because we probably lost some actual funny. Well, we did. We lost some actual funny comedians because of all the corporate bullshit and PC, and we'll know our culture's better when comedy gets better, and I think we've got a new wave coming that's good.
Are we ever going to get comedy movies that are actually funny again?
Well,
That's
yeah,
gonna be
the
the
writers and
benchmark.
producers
That
have to have
would be
have to have the balls to put these projects forth. I think it was like maybe 10 years ago, Jamie Foxx wrote something with Robert Downey Jr. that it was was inspired by Tropic Thunder. It was like a Mexican version of that character that he did in blackface. They made this whole film and they're just afraid to release it, which is if anyone's got, FU money or FU credits, it's those guys. So it was really disappointing that they didn't just say screw it and release the film. I think these bigger guys that are more household names have to be the ones that take the risks. But they probably won't, and we'll probably need more, Daily Wires making films.
something's got to happen. Justine Bateman pointed it out that the reason we're not getting any kind of satire or comedy is because it doesn't sell from America as it doesn't sell internationally, right? So it's easier to go to the genre route, and that's why a lot of this stuff has been homogenized, and a lot of our genres have been completely destroyed.
A lot of satire is pushing against the mainstream, but the mainstream won't allow itself to be criticized, but also is hyper Americanized as it is. The further you get away from America, the less and less, especially when you go into the other languages. It's like the only audience that would actually care about it is the one which is like treated as if it's blaspheming just to do it in the first place.
Well, the other thing too is with comedies, I mean, they're supposed to be cheap to make, so they don't have to have international appeal.
No, but they don't. But everything that's made now for the major studios has to have international appeal because it costs so much to make, because they're bogged down with so much redundancy because of the unions and everything else. That's why they're going to the UK to save money. One of the most hyper tax societies on the planet. Somehow they're going to save money going to the UK. The good old UK. Treating your farmers great over there, by the way.
Yeah.
Well done.
It was nice to see them stage that protest at least.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
don't need food.
The arguments against that bullshit inheritance tax for farmers, like it's insane what they're trying to do. Yeah, it would just cripple them. Like there's no family business there anymore because you'll be taxed into oblivion.
Inheritance tax in general is bullshit.
In general is nonsense. Yeah, absolutely, he's right.
It's like, you have to pay money to the government to get something that's already yours.
Yeah,
and it's already
that was
taxed.
already taxed. Exactly,
Right.
as already taxed.
I mean, I get the concept behind it. It's like to stop like families who are hyper wealthy, like billionaires, like hoarding all the money, like just passing it on generation to generation. But yeah, it's the people who
what's wrong with that.
It's their money. They should be allowed.
Well, I like I say, I don't support it. I'm just saying I understand the principle behind it. But
And it impacts regular people, though.
Exactly,
It impacts
yeah.
regular people.
Well,
the thing is, like people who are rich like that, they get rich because they hire the best accountants who can help them hide all the money and do whatever with it, so they avoid tax anyway.
Yeah. Well, the whole point behind it is to basically destroy small farmers. Like
It's
what's
to
happening in
grab the
Netherlands.
land. They
Exactly.
want to take the land for their stupid wind farm bullshit and steal it. Yeah, that's. I mean, one guy wrote a freaking article. I think it was for the Guardian, just straight up saying it. One commie came out and just straight up said, "Yeah, farmers they've been hoarding their family land that they own for too long." Fuck off, commie.
We've got a better one than that. Keir Starmer account, obviously not him himself, but his official account tweeted out, "We are really proud that the UK will be moving forward, partnering with private businesses, and we are now allying ourselves with BlackRock." And so that they tweeted that out like yesterday.
Yeah.
So it's already been announced essentially who's going to buy the land.
It was great seeing Jeremy Clarkson out there. He was talking to that one BBC interviewer that got like a bunch of numbers wrong. He corrected it later, and he got to film it all for Clarkson's Farm season 4, which I can't wait for next year. Next year.
It's really interesting that there's these policies that governments are pushing around the world that seem to, oddly fall in line with either helping BlackRock out or being in line with the World Economic Forum.
Funny that, isn't
it? So in line with it, because we've got this bullcrap thing happening in Australia with the social media ban for children under 16, which is a Trojan horse to bring in digital ID. Everyone in Australia is going to have a digital ID, because how else are you going to verify who's under 16 or not? It's a friggin' disgrace. And that looks like it's actually going to be pushing through. And it's like, gee, I wonder where our retarded prime minister got the idea for that. And you see him
Probably
at
the World Economic Forum,
shaking people's hands and crap like that. Pisses me off. I can't see it.
Well, a lot of it, Shad, it seems like they've been all these globalist agendas that they've been experimenting with in Australia, and then they kind of roll it out to the rest of the world.
Yeah, we're the guinea pigs over here. I want to see what they can get away with, because so much of our population just rolls over. I mean, there's the protesters that kick back, but they push gun control, and most people didn't want it, but
once you vote socialism in, it's really hard to vote it out. Almost impossible.
It was the conservative government that pushed it through.
Well, they were never
in inverted
conservative.
Okay.
The uniparty Well, we
Same
got the
over
same thing
here.
over here. Neocon.
Yeah,
doing the
that's
party
what we have.
bullshit. Yeah.
Like this under 16 social media ban, both major parties are supporting it.
Of course they do.
So
That's the same in the UK, right? In the UK, whether you vote Conservative or Labour, their ideas when it comes to gun control are almost identical.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
their ideas on
there's a
everything are almost
consensus on that
identical.
there.
Right. So we can say it's very different from like here in the US, of course, where right wing is very pro gun and usually left wing. It depends though, because I've seen some like
Far left is also
the
very
big
pro-gun.
difference I think in the UK
Right.
is there was never a strong culture of gun ownership in the past
Of course.
anyway.
Yeah, same-
That
same-
there would have
same in
been
Italy.
now.
They would have pushed back. Whereas
Yeah.
in America, obviously, it's an intrinsic part of the
we
culture.
fucking
So
love
that's
them.
why you can.
Oh, yeah.
That's why
But
they were
I-
able to get legislation like that passed because there just wasn't enough resistance to stop
I
it.
see.
I think it comes down to whether your culture is high trust or low trust naturally. And I think as the UK goes forwards, it would have had lower and lower trust, and you would have seen gun take increase as people were like, no, I need to defend myself. Whereas back when all that was passed, it was like, no, it's very safe. You could go out anywhere. But like even the government now wants to start reintroducing wolves and stuff into the countryside. It's like, well, if a wolf comes for you, you're going to defend yourself with a spoon. What are you going to do?
Only if you've got a license for it, Disparu.
Yeah, you
well,
got
yeah,
it.
there is that picture.
No,
of the,
you
the
won't be
London
able to.
police.
No, Disparu, you will not be able to kill the wolf. Okay, if you kill the wolf, you will go to jail.
Unironically, yeah.
Yeah. So
There
you
is-
should just
London Met did
die.
post-
Basically, it's good for
But
the
it ate my
environment.
child. Who cares?
The
Sorry.
governments can kill innocent defensive squirrels, but if you kill a wolf that's trying to murder you, you're going to jail.
Forget about
Well,
it.
London Met did post a picture of like, these are the weapons that we've taken off the streets of London, and one of them is a spoon. And it was like,
Wow, not even a
unironically, I
ladle,
totally
a
find this
spoon?
tweet.
Seriously,
Good people
like,
of London
least
can
get a
sleep easy
sport, you know?
tonight.
Well, to be fair,
like,
there's
it's got to be a reference to Robin Hood with Kevin Costner. Come on,
Yeah.
the whole scene where he wants to murder him with a
Yeah.
spoon.
Yeah.
I'll cut your heart out with this. I
Yes.
love that line.
Right.
That's,
Why a
Man.
spoon, cousin? 'Cause
Alan
of a hard
Rickman,
bar.
greatest sheriff ever played.
Yeah.
And also,
Yep.
I don't care what anyone says.
I miss
Best
him
Robin
so
Hood
much.
film. Best Robin Hood film ever made. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Love it.
No,
I second that actually. I
Errol
love
Flynn-
that
Errol Flynn's
unironically.
Robin Hood is the greatest Robin Hood film ever made.
Come on, Robin Hood, Men in Tights.
How old are you,
Yeah.
Gary? Holy
Fucking
crap.
old enough to know
Okay,
good
let's
from
go
bad.
with foxes. Let's go with
Young
foxes. Disney
pissant.
Robin Hood before they went nuts.
Yeah, I did like the Disney's Robin Hood.
Yeah,
Dresses up as a
Oh, the
fucking
animated
stork
one?
for the archery
Oh
tournament.
yeah,
Oh, dude,
and
that's
the
very
guards
first,
with the nasal helmets. I
Yes.
loved it.
that's the
And-
very
and, like-
first movie I saw in the theaters.
And there's like a
Ironic-
million reused cells, like reused animation cells from that movie that they've used in different ones, and even like scene to scene, it's like the same shit over and over.
That movie was a transition movie for Disney. It was the
Yep.
first time that like their new crop of animators had come in, and it was the last movie
Oh,
that
really?
the
Okay.
old guard worked on.
Oh,
And so it
dang.
was very much like handing it off to the next generation. It was a passing of the
Interesting.
torch. kind
You
of
know what's
film.
interesting as well? The animated Disney Robin Hood is one of the more accurate Robin Hood tales. If you want to actually follow the classic Robin Hood tale, that's actually one of the more closely followed ones in terms of that. I still like Prince of Thieves.
Aside from all the walking animals, you know, it's
yeah,
really
but aside from that,
Yeah.
I'm talking about the just
walking
the
and
plot.
talking
Prove it.
animals.
Prove it.
Yeah,
prove it,
you weren't
Shaq.
there.
Little John actually was a bear.
Hey, speaking of Disney, has that Snow White trailer like made it onto YouTube yet?
I was on Twitter. I think.
Well, it's on Twitter.
It
'cause
hasn't
somebody
been
filmed it.
released by Disney, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah. So it's what are your thoughts on that? Now, it could be we just want to get people to the theater, so we're going to start showing our trailers in theaters first, which I can see business wise, or it could be they don't want to get ratioed to oblivion when they put it on YouTube eventually.
It's
could
going to be a
that.
bloodbath.
Like, I'll also say the idea of trailers that we've never seen on YouTube coming out in theaters first, a couple days before we see it released on YouTube, has been happening. Like,
Yeah, it's been
that happens
happening.
with plenty of Marvel movies and stuff like that. Now, the first trailer, the very first trailer, usually that's boom everywhere all at once. All the subsequent ones, sometimes they're kind of parceled out, and sometimes they're in, like, you see one in a theater a couple days before you even see it online. So I don't know if it's necessarily anything new or if there's anything strategic surrounding this one or not, but I'm sure it'll get annihilated just like everything else. Even though I did have to like try to fact check some engagement farmers on Twitter over that old ass Snow White video.
Oh, the
one from January of 2023.
the
when
Rachel
she's-
Zegler video where it looks like she was apologizing, but she was that was old.
Yeah, and people like, this is the apology she gave for insulting Trump fans. How do you feel about this? Fucking millions and millions of impressions on Twitter, even though it's a straight up fucking lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't care.
I know.
Ian Miles Chong.
I do.
That's our boy.
Do you reckon Snow White has any hope for design?
No. It costs so much money. It will flop hard. It's going to be a disaster.
Yeah, like, could it do a Wicked, though?
No.
Their live actions just have not translated. Like, I know we could look back to like the Lion King live action, but like they saw a precipitous drop off in quality and also in just overall money. So I don't think it's gonna do well.
There was like, again, in our space with the Cynthia Erivo poster thing that she said and some of the cringe stuff. Like, our space is the only place where people have been like negatively at all talking about Wicked. Like, most of it has been like extremely positive from the target audience. Think about not just our space for Snow White, but the target audience. Think of how Disney fans reacted to Rachel Zegler, not necessarily about the Trump thing, but about what she said about the animated movie.
About Snow White,
like, that's the reason there's so much backlash for this. It's because it's not just for us who we're probably not the target demo. It's from the people that are supposed to love it, the Disney fans, the Disney adults, the people who watched that as a kid and like to show it to their kid and want to take their kid to be a Disney kid too. Those are the people that really have like hated what Rachel Zegler has been talking about in regards to the original, and they hate that they're changing so much about this one.
Yeah,
that's why that thing's doomed to fail.
To herself, she kept her activism.
Well, that's why she. Sorry.
No, nothing.
Oh, she should have just kept a lot of that to herself.
No, I was going to say that's why she became the poster child for modern Hollywood. It's not about Snow White. It was about her attitude towards the audience and towards the source material, the movie that created Disney. So she, as Ryan just said, she pissed everybody off. She pissed everybody off for different reasons, but that's why she became the poster child. I don't care about Snow White, but I do care about like the cultural significance, and that's why it hit the stratosphere as far as like going viral, because there's just been so much of this crap with stuff we do care about. Like, this is really she encapsulated it perfectly in a couple of videos. Everything that's wrong with Hollywood. That's why people are talking about it. And that's the cultural significance.
And even though it's just a YouTube video and it's just a YouTube trailer, the fact that that thing has around 100,000 likes and over 1.3 million downvotes, when remember the vast majority of people that are watching that can't even see how many dislikes there are. So it's not like they're participating in a pile-on necessarily. They can't see that number unless you have the extender. That just tells you that virtually everyone, it's overwhelming hate.
Oh yeah. But it's the attitude. It's the attitude. It goes beyond politics, because you can find someone who is a spoiled brat, whether it be like far left, far right, far center, if that thing even exists. It doesn't matter, because it's the spoiled attitude that really pisses everyone off, which then, and of course, the hatred for the source material, if people are interested, love the source material. So if you hate it and disrespect it, did you see Brad Cooper dress up as Snow White to create did you see that?
Oh, yeah, she looked great.
She looked great, yeah. So it was, I don't know. It is what it is.
We'll see. I don't think the movie's going to do very well. I think YouTube channels will be launched. A lot of careers will be launched when this comes out. And I think it'll probably be like the most cringe thing next year. I think it's pretty easy to predict at this point. It's going to be the Marvels and the Acolyte of next year.
Because a film like that has to at least look good or at least half decent, and it doesn't even have that.
The dwarves look so bad. And I just remember from the trailer where she has her get the dwarves clean up the house when in the original she was cleaning up.
Right.
It's just hilarious.
By the way, I want to call out Wicked, because Peter Dinklage is not a fucking goat, and he played a goat.
Wow.
What a bastard. What a son of a bitch. He stole a role from a goat.
Those are goat jobs.
All those goat actors, man.
I think you can tell from Disney's reaction, though. They knew she got bad press. They tried to rehabilitate her image. They put out, there was variety puff pieces about her. There was multiple interviews about how nice she is. And they were like, we're just really friendly people. And she just can't keep her mouth shut.
No.
That was the main thing.
Yeah,
All the effort they put into it destroyed.
The most telling one, I think, was when she did that sit-down interview with Halle Bailey. And her whole demeanor was completely different. She was very soft and feminine and so reverent to the original movie. And it's like you could tell she was just putting on the act and she fucking hated it. And like you say, yeah, our true personality comes through sooner or later. It always does.
And
Yeah,
at the
maybe
next
it's better that
D23,
way.
What was that?
No, I just said maybe it's better that way. That's what I was saying. We can see.
The next D23, she also did a speech about how much she really adored the original movie, and it meant so much to her and everything. Like, her entire attitude changed from one year to the next. So they definitely tried to change the tone.
One of the AI dwarves definitely looks like Comics Division. I don't know if that's why he left just now.
Yeah, he's trying to be.
Those things
like,
are all nightmare fuel, though. Like they're big, fleshy, like flat CGI faces.
Yeah, we can't
like,
show it to you because it's basically a cam copy that's going around Twitter. And Disney doesn't hit anybody for anything really, except for that. Yeah,
unreleased stuff. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, that's where I will give Disney credit over Paramount and Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers is the fucking worst. They're the worst with hitting you for copyright stuff, even with
trailer reactions, and
unfounded. Yeah, it's completely.
I got
unfounded.
some of those recently claims.
Oh yeah,
they like doing legacy claims as well. Stuff that came out like 6 months ago or a year ago. Suddenly you'll get a whole bunch of copyright claims coming from them.
Yeah, they go through like a wave. Yeah, because I got hit for Joker 2 like in 2 months after it came out. So whatever, and Furiosa 2 months after it came out.
Yeah, I think sometimes like when they switch up, because all of those are based on whatever company that they've hired to scan the internet constantly for anything that belongs to them. I think when they change their algorithms up or like update their shit, it's like, oh, even though it didn't detect it 3 months ago, it detects it now.
But their claim is for the master copy, and it's like, no, I use trailer footage. Footage. So and like they expect you not to fight it, but whatever. Well, there's ways around it, and I will find them.
Stupid thing you can do to hit somebody who's marketing your movie, even if somebody just took the entire trailer and uploaded it on their channel, you should still want that because you wanted as many people to see the trailer as possible.
It's a fucking commercial.
It's like Nintendo. It's what Nintendo is infamous for. They will claim anything you show that it's theirs, even though other companies don't mind. Like Bethesda, oh yeah, you can upload the entirety of Skyrim. They don't care. They love it. So it's like, I wonder why some companies.
Do you remember the Nintendo gamer thing they tried to set up where you could only stream their games if you signed up to it, and they would take a cut of all your revenue? That was the most wild thing I'd ever heard. I'm so glad that didn't take up, because that could have gone across the entire industry if it had worked.
Oh yeah.
Good point.
Now, there's a number of Japanese companies that are just copyright dogs, basically.
They have different laws, I think, in Japan, and they're very strict.
Yeah, but then they try and impose it on other countries, because it happened with me with my Run Mahaf review. They tried to take that down, and it's like, get stuffed. Look, you can fight it. You just have to say, sue me. And if they don't take legal action, it goes back up.
Got claimed. She-Hulk. She-Hulk got claimed.
This was hilarious.
This is the day Hope died.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry, Disparu.
Yeah.
We were talking about
hanging on to. It's like, well, she's still on the poster.
We were talking about this on Open Bar, though. When you look at the rest of them that are still left, like, damn, how many are even like relevant? Captain Marvel is basically done. Shang-Chi, who gives a shit about him? Like, Scarlet Witch is dead.
Shuri? The backlash over not recasting Black Panther T'Challa has been huge, and rightly so. By the way, I would have much rather have seen a Black Panther with Black Panther in it, to be honest with you. Yeah. Let's see. Scarlet Witch is dead. Loki is he's a variant.
No shit. They should have just recast, use Michael B. Jordan as T'Challa and never fucking addressed it. Like never, just pretend that it's normal and just move on from there.
Like this is your Avenger, because everybody's like, Avengers movies are coming out. It's like, who the fuck are the Avengers? These are the Avengers. These are the Avengers, and it is a bunch of B and Z list. And Nick Fury, man, he's the most cucked here. God damn,
he's burned now.
After Secret Invasion, the Marvels, no one gives a shit about Nick Fury.
There's and Yelena as well. Like, crap about. Like,
why are they still trying to push Florence Pugh in this universe? Like, she was in like one of the shittest movies in the entire lineup.
They really want her to work, so they gave her a sequel. I mean, Thunderbolts is basically a sequel to a couple of things, but it's a sequel to Black Widow. That's what it is.
I think that she is supposed to be kind of the lead character in that.
Yes.
Yeah, she's gonna lead the Thunderbolts, and I'm so pissed off about it.
Because she's just like Scarlett Johansson. Really? She's a girl. I mean, just like her.
She's white.
I like Florence Pugh. I like her with her fucking tits out in Oppenheimer. I like Florence Pugh, but I just don't care about the character Yelena at all.
No.
Thunderbolts is gonna be so depressing because it's not Thunderbolts. It's Thunderbolts in name only. It's not the original story.
It's a Dark Avengers.
They want
more of that. Yeah.
A Marvel's version of the Suicide Squad. That's what they're gonna go with, and it's gonna just be awful.
Yeah, it's good. Like, again, it's going to be years till they turn things around. The plot synopsis came out for Fantastic Four: First Steps, and I mean, we all knew this, but it confirmed female Silver Surfer, which is just fucking stupid, man. It is the worst decision ever made, and it'll probably, and then Pedro Pascal is the smartest man alive. Come on, give me a fucking break. Give me a fucking break. Stop casting this dude, okay?
It's almost as ridiculous as having him play this Chad tough general as well.
I know, especially after his act at his little rubbing and he's looking nervous on the stage at Comic-Con. It was weird.
I forgot about
it was
that.
fucking
He's so
strange.
brave. It wasn't only me. Did it feel like he purposely put on this fake deep voice in Gladiator to try and sound more masculine, and it came off horrible?
Probably.
I want to save Rome or something.
All I think of when I see that guy is he called half the country Confederates and bad guys from WW2 and got cast into everything afterwards.
I still say the strangest casting in Gladiator 2 is Matt Lucas as the announcer out of nowhere.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, it's supposed to be a serious movie.
It took
And then
me a
you've got a
second to
comedy.
realize, I'm like, is that like it's Ozempic Matt Lucas? So I'm like,
Yeah,
I recognize him from Doctor Who. Yeah. But yeah, he just looks older and like his flesh is kind of hanging off him. That Ozempic thing. Yeah, it was weird. That was strange casting, but oh well. Okay, let's what was I gonna man, I miss Garrett.
Yeah, wait.
I forgot what I was about to do.
Yeah, without Garrett, this panel is very fucking white.
Yeah.
Other extra girl, I guess.
It really is.
Today.
And she's sitting there with her fucking
Jason.
dyed hair and wicked shirt. She may as well be white. Look at her.
Oh, thank you.
Wow.
It was a compliment.
shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I can pull up this article. Hang on, real quick. Just give me a second. Talk amongst
I
yourselves.
have most of them open if you want.
Do the Ray Price one.
Ray Price.
Ray
Lady G
Price.
says
you
How
don't
to Train
have.
Your Dragon.
Oh yeah, we can do that. Let's do that one instead. Yeah, let's talk about that.
Okay.
We did tease that. So good point, Odin. How to Train Your Dragon director addresses live action Astrid casting controversy. We're crafting a fantasy, not historical fact.
Same old,
That's always
isn't it?
excuse.
Yep. Okay. So that argument works both ways, by the way. Then if you're not, then why would you do it with other things?
Well, what's it got to
when
do
you
with changing the source material, though? Like,
Yeah,
that was also
exactly.
a fantasy. At least stay honest to that.
Yeah.
I just
So the
wish
whole
one
point,
time they
though-
would. I just wish they'd be honest just one time and say, "Look, we've got quotas that we have to meet for this sort of thing. We don't care. You don't care, but we have to
Boxes
do
to
it."
tick. Yeah, boxes
Yeah.
to tick.
Yes,
Checkboxes.
because ultimately, if it doesn't matter, then it shouldn't matter. The doctor should still be a dude. Astrid should have blonde hair. If it doesn't matter, then it shouldn't fucking matter. But it does. And Drinker's right. They're not honest. And that's exactly why they did it.
It's gaslighting.
Yeah. It's total
And
gaslighting.
it's
Yeah.
not
I
only
think it was-
Astrid that they've done this to. They're doing it to Fish Legs as well. And they're trying to make him look like Fish Legs and all other things, but he doesn't have blonde hair. And, he's obviously wearing a wig already. Why are you just not adapting it accurately? They're going out of their way to change
But
it.
then they're doing shot for shot remake of
Which is
certain scenes, which is
Baffling.
I think it
Come
was
on.
as you
It's the
said
same
once,
director.
like the argument of the whole why do you care so much argument always comes out when they get what they want.
Yep.
Mhm.
Once they've got their characters changed to whatever demographics they want, then they start saying, well, why do you care so much?
Mhm.
Well, you obviously cared enough to want to change them in the first place. So why did you
Yeah.
care so much? Why was it so important to you?
Yeah, but
Not
also,
to
you want me to care
mention-
that much. Like, you want my
Yeah.
money.
Exactly. And also, why do you care that I care? Will be a good answer to that. I mean, at the end of the day.
So, like, what the director actually says when you read his response, it was reply to somebody on Instagram. Effectively, he says that in all of our screen testings, we were looking for chemistry and who best represents like the character, and this is who we chose. It felt very similar to me to what the reason for Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman in the Batman was. And I actually do think that Zoe Kravitz did a really, I think she did a solid job. I actually liked her a lot in the Batman, her character, and I thought she had good chemistry. But then the one thing that makes me question if that was actually true was the one line about the rich white people in the city. So it makes me wonder, is that really the reason that you cast her, or was it really because of the chemistry she had and how she played the character? You know, when it comes to Nico Parker, it's sad that Garrett isn't here, but Nico Parker is a quarter black. Nico Parker's mother is Tandy Newton, who her mother was, I think, from Zimbabwe, and her dad was a white British man, so a British man. And then Nico Parker's father is also white. So I think she's a quarter black when you look at what her heritage is. She doesn't look like Astrid, certainly.
Can I jump in on that? Because if you actually look at her facial structure, she has a kind of rounded jaw that actually has similar appearance to the Astrid animation. And I actually think she could actually play and resemble Astrid quite well if they just gave her blonde hair.
Yeah,
exactly.
if they
That's
gave her
all
blonde
they
hair,
needed to do.
that would probably work.
And she's got the skin is like it's pale enough.
Her skin, she's not dark skinned or anything. Yes.
The reason we're talking about this though is because Hollywood made it an issue. Like, you know, if this was in isolation 10 years ago, nobody give a fuck. But Hollywood made it an issue with their diversity initiatives, which were exclusionary. And Gingerside's real. Let's not, you know, Astrid isn't ginger, but Gingerside's actually absolutely real. And it was their attitude. And we're like, hey, we didn't think this was a big deal at first, but then you made it a big deal. So when we call it out, you know, all of a sudden we're the fucking enemies. You're the guys who are fucking putting everybody into categories and then having to hit check boxes. And Drinker is right. The reason this decision was made is because they had to check some boxes. And I was told by a very good source, it was the craziest thing I ever heard. So I had to ask twice, like, why Pedro was cast as Reed Richards. And the dude told me it's because he's white passing. So these are things they say to each other behind the scenes. These are real fucking things. He is a white passing diverse person. What the
This is simply a question of immersion. To get immersed in any environment, you have to believe, on almost subconscious level, that everything fits into place. If you're watching Lord of the Rings and a Ferrari drives through an army, it's going to break you out of the film. If you're watching Vikings and they don't all look like Vikings, it's not going to immerse you in the environment because that's not out of place. It's like when you were watching Gladiator, like, well, that didn't exist in history. It didn't bother me because I didn't know about it, but to you, pulled you out of the movie. So you have to make it as believable as possible.
Well, it's like remaking Roots and putting Asian people in it, or you know, or white people. Like, oh, it doesn't matter. It's just a show. It's just a TV show. It's not supposed to. Yeah.
And like ultimately, I know, even though like a lot of people in our space are talking about this right now, I don't know if this is going to have the same kind of backlash had for Disney, like Disney Little Mermaid or Rachel's. I don't think it's going to come anywhere close to that, in my opinion. I actually think it's pretty isolated to our section of the internet right now that's talking about this. If the movie is like the trailer that they just showed, I actually think that the movie's going to do incredibly fucking well.
Really? Because
if they reshoot the movie shot for shot, it'll probably do well. Ryan's right, and that's fucking horrible. I think the biggest issue with the fucking How to Train Your Dragon is they're remaking fucking animated shows from the last fucking decade or whatever in live action and not making any fucking new movies. That's the problem.
What the director actually said, he said it's not going to be a shot-for-shot remake, but he said when they wanted to do this, when they wanted to make this in a live action, I wanted to work on it to make sure it happened right.
I don't know.
It'll probably be good. I don't even know. But the fact is, like, this is being greenlit over other stuff that might be better. Like, again, adapt a fucking book that hasn't been adapted yet. If you want to go draw off of something, I don't know, in a different world, adapt Elric. Do something. Bring back Conan. Do something.
Because this is what pisses me off about this. Because I'm actually a massive fan of the original How to Train Your Dragon.
It's a
film.
fantastic movie.
I consider it a near masterpiece, near perfect. Like there are so many great emotional beats, the delivery of the voice acting, everything like that. That if they're going to try and make a copy of this, they need to mix it up somehow because there's the only result, you're going to be making a scene-for-scene remake, and check it out. This is basically what they're doing, right? The only result then is it's going to be an inferior copy of the original. Look at the emotional difference. Look at how Hiccup is reacting here versus the acting. It has so much more depth and feeling in it, where this live action one feels like a soulless copy. It feels like and I hate it. I genuinely do not like what we're seeing here, because we're missing out on some really important elements that it conveyed so much. Because in animation, they can exaggerate those emotions and scenes a little bit more, and you can't capture that nearly as well in the live action. And so I really think if they were planning on trying to make a live action one, they needed to actually, instead of making it look like a live action version of the animated, they should have actually made it a bit more realistic. I'd make the dragons instead of the dragons.
I disagree with that last point wholeheartedly. I think it was the perfect idea for them to bring these to make them look like the dragons look in animation, rather than to make to look like a fucking House of the Dragon.
Yeah, I would be more interested if they did
play
that.
so much better.
I don't know. To me, I see this and I'm just disappointed as a fan.
Because you can give this thing emotion. So in these live action remakes, one of the things that we always do complain about, whether it's fucking Little Mermaid or Lion King, which
especially
is
Lion
anyway, is the fact that they just make Sebastian just looks like a dumbass fucking crab, right? There is no emotion.
Hyper realistic.
This is the right way to go when you're talking about stuff like that, because to me,
I agree.
like being able to see Toothless's expressions and things like that are so important.
Well, I'm not saying change him completely, but I'm thinking there could be a middle ground where you make him a little bit more realistic in a live action setting, right? Instead, because when I see this, I see I can just watch the original. It's exactly the same, but the original is better, has better emotional expressions and everything.
I could just watch the Wicked play.
Just
well,
stop
that's the
doing live
danger.
actions of things where half of it is CGI anyway, and half the characters in it are CGI. Like, at least adapt things that you can actually adapt to live action, rather than there was no point in this if most of some of the main characters are CGI.
Right?
Yep. Well, but I think it's going to make a lot of money. I do.
Maybe.
I don't know if that's great for.
It's something to take your kids to.
Yeah. I mean, that's what most of those.
I'll check it out.
Movies are.
Well, we're a long way away from it. The first, listen, How to Train Your Dragon. A lot of similar abbreviations there, but How to Train Your Dragon is not some mega blockbuster, right? It came out 10 years ago, and they made $500 to $600 million at the box office. All three of them, in one way, shape, or form, right around there. So it's not like we're talking about Frozen or Frozen 2, right? These billion-dollar movies. But it does have a super hardcore following post-release in terms of video on demand sales, in terms of merchandise sales, stuff like that. I think that's one of the reasons they decided to do it, obviously. For money,
it had a cultural footprint, something the Avatar films have not.
It did. Yeah. And
Interesting that, isn't it?
like if you're gonna ask me, do I need a live action? No, I don't. But if you're gonna make one, I would try to make it as close to the animated, the beloved animated one that everyone loves. I would try to make it as close as I can to that, including these scenes that look so reminiscent from these very remarkable scenes that stand out to you. I'd want to make that shot for shot. Now, what I'd also want to do is make sure the characters fucking look like each other. So when you're showing,
what are you getting out of the new film then? What are you actually gaining out of it being in live action?
I might not be getting anything, but if you're talking about if they want to remake that, there's a score of people out there that have no interest in watching a fucking cartoon.
Maybe
I think live action carries more weight, and I think it's more easily to get immersed in it than animation. One of the things that I liked in Jack Reacher, the opening scene where he walks in the cafe, they did an advertisement where they read the actual description from the book and showed you side by side, and it was exactly the same.
Yeah.
I like the shot by
Well,
shot.
I think that's
great-
fine.
I think
But
a
it's
great-
when you're
Go
starting off with something that was already an animated movie, there's a target audience for that, and I don't know if you necessarily gain much by then translating it into live action, because it's you're still going to want to target that same level of audience. If it's a kids animated movie, you're going to want kids to watch your live action version. It's just a way of recycling the same story, the same plot beats, and everything.
Yep.
I think a great example, a comparison though, is if you think about the Spider-Verse films, those films have done well for what they are, but they're nowhere near what the live action Spider-Man films have done. So clearly there's a lot more audience that's willing to go see the live action versus the animated. I think that makes a good point there.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have to see. You guys might be right. As a big fan of the original, I just look at this and I get pissed.
I love all three of them. I think that those three movies are awesome. The first one, nothing can really match the first one, but
yeah, the first one is
the other day.
They're good.
Yeah.
I just know it took me a long time to get into anime because I had that exact I don't want to watch a cartoon kind of thing. And it was the quality of the story and the plots that actually drew me in rather than the animation style. But if I had those things in live action, I'd watch the live action any day.
I mean, but they're actually trying to make the live action look in a goofy way like the original. Like, have a look at this image of Toothless, right? Just sharing it now. Like, they're trying to make it look it's so much like the animation in a goofy way that
some things don't adapt.
You mean fish legs, not Toothless?
Yeah, sorry, fish legs. Sorry,
it's like Cowboy Bebop.
I mean,
if
obviously, what you're seeing there is a set photo as well, so I don't know what they're going to do to him CGI wise.
He's a big fat, like he's super fat in the cartoon.
I mean, I like that they're trying to capture the charm, but then it's like, doesn't that undermine the potential appeal of the live action aspect, that it's more legitimate? If people see that, it's like, oh, it's a live action cartoon essentially, and it's still a goofy kids thing, and I'm not sure. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I get what you're saying, and if you take it to this extreme, then yeah, this is where you start to cross the line from like it's not live action believability anymore. It just looks like a cartoon.
I think it depends on the property.
Well, how about The Rock in his muscle suit?
What did people think about One Piece? They thought that was too silly and too ridiculous, or
good point.
I can't compare it to the original because I haven't seen it.
What was that?
I was saying I can't compare it to the anime or anything because I haven't seen the anime. So
One Piece was so much more. The live action was so much more approachable because it was shorter and more condensed. To me, this is it's a film, and they're probably gonna. I don't see anything.
One Piece thread the needle like perfectly. Like they really did a good job. It could have been goofy as hell. And like when I first saw the trailers, I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I only saw it by accident. I was on the plane watching Az get ripped for his pronouns thing, and I'm like, all right, I've watched that for a couple hours, and I'm gonna watch something. Well.
Get ripped on the plane.
No, but One Piece is a good point to bring up. So
yes, it is.
I could be wrong. I
oftentimes kind of try to look outside just our space of like how people are reacting to shit. That's why I thought that Wicked was going to be a massive success, even though a bunch of people thought Cynthia Erivo may have, she's going to make this movie flop. Because I just didn't think that's what the vast majority of people felt. And looking at the reaction to How to Train Your Dragon so far, I think that most people like the trailer that they've seen. We'll see what happens, and we'll see what they might put into it. And if there's bullshit, hey, we find out this is the reason they cast Astrid. Who knows? That can all change. We know very little about it.
This is the reason, you watch other channels, and you also watch the shit we're covering. Like that's what's important, because then you actually know, and then you get the truth. Now, let's switch real quick. James Gunn is in charge of DC. We know this. Got some bad news. So Penguin, kind of a popular series. Okay. I think it's going to win awards. It was still #1 on Samba, despite like not airing that week. It was still #1. Tulsa King #2. By the way, Tulsa King was fucking awesome. So good. The script isn't done for Batman 2.
Still?
Yeah. So this was a response on Threads. You can scroll down. Oh, you got it. X-Ray, go. Or maybe no, that's mine.
Lady G.
It just reminded me, I really need to go to Best Buy to save up
$50. Go to Best Buy, everybody. Jesus fucking Christ.
I just got a free promotion on FNT. Thousands of people.
It was reported a while back that Matt Reeves has already finished the script for Batman 2. Is this really true? I think that report was well-intentioned, but it was mistaken. We are very much looking forward to it. It's like fucking Warner Brothers, dude.
He also replies to way too many people about these things.
He does, and he's not always honest. So let's keep that in mind.
He's
not an honest man.
Both sides of his mouth. Yeah.
The Batman universe, like the Matt Reeves Batman universe, is the only aspect of DC that I'm actually kind of looking forward to, particularly after Penguin.
Yes.
I'm actually looking. Like, they should really be putting everything they have into getting this made.
I would, and as everyone has said, and I've been saying it for years, make a Batman TV show. You don't need a gun movie.
Yeah.
You know, and make it completely separate from James Gunn's universe, who's going to introduce a Batman. Like, it's going to be years, and I think it has something to do with the Batman, and I think it has something to do with what they call brand confusion and some rights or whatever the fuck is going on. That Warner Brothers just can't seem to get that one right, and it would be cheap. Put $250 million into a series, and it would be watched by everybody. And
make it like episodic with like
procedural
into the world's greatest detective
Batman show.
Be friggin' amazing. We'd never have gotten that before.
And recap.
Hollywood as a whole needs to be a bit more reactive. So rather than coming out with like a decade-long plan, every movie's like a lottery ticket. Every TV show is a lottery ticket. When you hit one, just double down, do it again. Then you have to do it quickly and take advantage. And if you plan something else, tough. Like, that might be a success. You already have a success, and you need to double down on it.
Yeah.
Well, they used to have that with the pilot system, and that test audience.
Well, they broke that, and the other problem they're having now is we're in this transitional period where they still have people doing all the CGI and rendering. And Ben Affleck talked about this. Like, imagine getting a House of the Dragon season like once every year instead of every 2 or 2.5 years. You're not going to be able to build a series. Coming, like, even Arcane took 3 years to come out, and it's disappointing some people. Not everybody, but it's disappointing some people. I saw the first episode. I didn't like it. But we'll see where the other episodes go. I got to see the rest of it. But
it's not quite measuring up to season 1. Though, not having Silco in it is a big miss.
Oh, that's a yes. I asked Mahler that once they offed him. I'm like, oh, how's this show going to be without him, man? Ugh.
Yeah, I thought the first 3 episodes were decent, but the following 3, it's like the story just fucking.
How do you open up with a musical theme? You do for one, the recap is like 3 minutes long. Then you do a musical opening, and then you do a musical montage right after that. It's like, what the hell? Am I watching a music video? What the fuck's going on?
Yeah,
but yeah, the second set of 3 episodes, there's like this time jump, and they don't explain what the hell is going on. So it's like.
It's a bummer because I like Arcade season 1.
Yeah, because sometimes like characters will be put in this insanely dangerous situation at the end of one episode, and then you skip to the next episode, and they're just out and clear and like off doing something else. Like, how did you survive that? Don't know.
Yeah.
Guys, there is so much shit coming out right now. Once Penguin in, and so Dune came out, so I'll just speed run this. Dune came out. I hated that first episode. Landman came out. I highly recommend that. I highly recommend Landman. It's kind of a weird name. But
is it like Bob oil Thornton. Drilling or something?
It's Yellowstone with freaking in West Texas about oil, and it's Billy Bob Thornton putting out fires. But it's also like it's got one of the best cold openings for a TV show that I've seen in a long time. It's good. It's good. I like it. Cobra Kai, liked what I've seen so far with that. That's nuts.
Part 2 of the final season of Cobra Kai, episodes 6 through 10. I thought it was good.
I thought it was really good. I hope they're better than the first batch because they were weak.
More stuff happens this time.
Well,
a lot more stuff happens.
So I think the first batch of the final season of Cobra Kai, it is the first time in the history of Cobra Kai that we don't actually have an antagonist that is interacting with our like protagonists.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Now, are there little things like, okay, who is it going to be? Miguel or Robbie, are they going to be captain? And Johnny and Daniel, of course, have their like disagreements. But in terms of an actual kind of nefarious force at work, we see it happening, but none of them are actually interacting with our people.
It's elusive.
It's the very end when they tease Tori back with Cobra Kai.
Yeah, a lot of moving parts that are really well put together, and really, I think, like lead to a point where you're like, I can't believe I have to wait until February for the next part.
Yes, there's a lot of stuff that happens. They quickly introduce different karate dojos around the world and immediately make you kind of either hate them or like them for some reasons. And of course, as always, it's the Valley is this little fictional universe where karate fights break out all the fucking time randomly, and usually there's no ramifications. That kind of transitions to all the way in Barcelona, Spain. But then one thing happens that is very shocking at the end of the episode. And leaves you like, fuck.
Now you got my interest.
4 months for the next one.
Yeah, watch it.
There's this character, Zara, that's like a social media star, and she's kind of annoying, and are we spoiling things or no?
Some of these guys haven't seen it, so no.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
We're like, yeah, 15,000 people in the chat will spoil away, but hey, these couple guys haven't seen it. So
No, when it's something good, like really good,
like
no.
good things.
Don't. The rule is no.
It is good though. It's very bingeable.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna get in the soups in just a second, but Critical Drinker has got something huge. I've seen it, by the way.
You have, yes. You got to see the premiere of it
at Grand Rapids Comic Con. Tell us about it.
All right, so Rogue Elements, the short film that we crowdfunded last year and then shot. We did all our post-production. It is now releasing on Monday the 25th. So it's all ready to go, and we're all very excited to share it with people. Like Gary was saying there, we had our premiere of it at Grand Rapids Comic Con. We got a very nice reception there, and people seem to be very pleased with it. So it's kind of like a proof of concept for what this could look like if it got turned into a TV show. So obviously the budget isn't enormous and so on, but it's there to represent what this could look like and give you a flavor of it. It's a nice little self-contained story. We're pretty happy with the characters and stuff that we were able to get into it. We were able to include as much as we could from the books, and there's definitely little hints. So if you have read the books, you'll pick up on certain things that you otherwise might not. But for people who are just coming into it cold, hopefully there's enough there that they'll be able to appreciate it anyway, and that it makes sense. But yeah, we were lucky enough that we had some good people on board to work on this. John Cassar, who produced 24, is one of our producers on this, and he believes in the project a great deal. So we're very lucky to have him on board. So like I say, yeah, we're starting to look at the prospect of this possibly getting turned into a TV show if it gets picked up. And so this is like the proof of concept to show you what it could look like.
Cool.
Nice. Congratulations.
When is it releasing again?
It's Monday the 25th.
Monday.
So I'll be releasing it.
What time?
I'll probably release it around 9 p.m. my time.
Okay, so
that will be 4 p.m. Eastern.
So 3 here is 3 Central, maybe.
Yeah, 3 Central, I think.
Right.
So I will have I'll do it as a premiere, so you'll get several hours warning anyway, so people can tune in when it goes out live.
Excellent. The one thing that you really did well was the action and the stunts are kind of amazing, and you got a little lucky because of the strike, right?
We did. Yeah, a lot of these teams who would otherwise be working on bigger Hollywood productions were available because of the strikes last summer. And so we were able to get them at a very good rate to work on our short film. And we were very lucky with that. Same with all the film production crew, the camera equipment. Again, all of that stuff would probably have been allocated to much bigger and more expensive projects, but we were able to get it. So if nothing else, it looks really nice.
Yay.
And John Cassar also worked on Orville. Yeah.
Yes.
So the 25th, okay, good little Thanksgiving thing. You can enjoy at home on Drinker's channel, dude.
Yes, it will be released on my channel. So
On
very
your
pleased
channel.
to finally be able to share it. And yeah, big thanks to all the backers that made it possible, because none of this would be happening without them. So it's been awesome, the support we've had for this.
Cheers.
Cool.
Well, can't wait to see it, dude. Thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be on FNT, guys. So thank you
yeah.
for having me on tonight.
And we will you can go away now if you need to.
Yeah. I'm gonna go away now. I'm gonna go away and watch Wicked.
Are you? No, you're not.
Nope.
Are you going? No, I was gonna say I went for date night. Whatever.
That's fair.
Gary's
Yeah, that's
been
fair.
super defensive about it. Just like continue.
I'm not defensive. I don't give a shit. I'll go, dude. I'll see whatever fucking movie I need to fucking see. I don't give a
fucking made us go to the Little Mermaid.
I
went to
did.
the Little Mermaid by myself, Gary.
I did that to make you squirm and to hear you bitch about it. That's exactly why I fucking did. I don't give a, there's no shame in my fucking game, but like, yeah, I explain to people on Twitter why you go to those fucking movies if they need it, little dadosphere shit there. Okay. Thanks.
We get you.
Thanks, Will. Love you, man.
Thank you, Gary.
Bye,
Love you guys.
See you, man.
Catch you later.
See ya.
Bye.
Later.
Exciting.
Okay, girls, let's talk about Wicked some more.
I want to see it now.
So X-Ray Girl's the only one who saw it, right? Well, no.
X-Ray Girl, is this something that only like
The only
theater
woman.
people will like?
It's the only
I
person in
think
the
you'll like
demographic who saw it.
if you like as a girl. I grew up as kind of like a theater kid, so a lot of the songs when they came on, I was just like semi singing and dancing to it as well.
I
in
never
my
saw
seat.
it.
I think. All right, so here are some of the. You guys can correct me if I didn't fucking see it. Here's some of like the concepts I feel like they talk about there that are why women love it so much. This feeling of not quite belonging and trying to find your place in the world.
Friendship.
Friendship with girls and girls lifting each other up instead of keeping each other down.
Yeah,
Like
there's
the
an
one-
arc of
your one black
so
friend kind of
good.
thing.
Oh my god.
Oh, there's this arc of cattiness, but then also makeover thing, and then making
Yeah.
up and being friends.
Like
and
high
then-
school type of drama shit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Having your
It's
little
very
token gay best friend running
simple.
around. Yeah.
And there's a lot of like haha
by
moments
Terry
that
Chan.
I enjoyed the humor as well. But yeah, guys, I don't think we'll ever like this.
Bach
Ever,
wine,
ever, ever,
chat
ever,
wine.
ever. I would not subject any of the men here to watch it.
Let's get to soups, ladies and gentlemen. Is everybody okay? Everybody doing fine?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna swap this to green in honor of your green light right there.
Ooh.
And in,
Just
and
gonna do
in
that.
honor of Wicked.
And in honor
Yeah.
of Wicked.
Right there.
That's wicked.
It's my background that I put together over the last week. Just
It's great. It's great. I love it.
thanks. It's
Wait,
like shit we
They
pulled
didn't
out
give
from
you
the
a
house
remote
and
control with
Con.
that light?
No?
I have one.
It's just manual?
Manual.
I have
Manual.
one.
Not automatic.
I can make this brighter.
No. Because I'm a European, I
Dimmer.
drive manual.
Oh, I love manual cars.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
So much better.
Stick shift.
I
rule.
wouldn't trust you in a fucking self-driving car, extra girl.
However, I've been in less accidents than actually I don't know how many accidents y'all have been in, but I've been
Just
Hang on.
two.
You've been in accidents, X-Rigo?
no, it was a not at fault accident on my part. Someone
I've been in an accident.
someone changed lanes into me.
Probably
Oh,
because
no.
you weren't driving aggressively enough. You were driving too defensively and weren't sure
No!
what to do, and they weren't
They
didn't know
were
what you were going to
turning
do.
Gonna turn out she
left.
was driving the wrong way down
No,
the
no,
road
no, no,
or
no, no, no,
something.
no, 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 no. This was a left/straight lane, and they were stuck behind someone turning left, and then they changed lanes into me as I was driving past.
Sounds like an Italian driving.
Yep.
Hey, Metatron, are you going to go see Wicked? Your missus going to...
Probably not unless my wife wants to, but honestly, I don't think so, mate.
Mrs. Nerdrotic loved it.
It's boring.
So
It's,
Aw.
there are some moments which are like,
audience.
yeah, but yeah, it's mostly boring. For
It
me.
was no Cinderella.
No, it was not even.
no Twilight.
Or Twilight.
No, don't even mention. My wife made me watch all of Twilight. Everything. Everything.
I'm
I mean,
unfortunately, my
Fed,
wife
aren't
is
you,
not into
Metatron?
that shit.
You know, I had to do it because at the end of the day, you know, she does know a thing or two now about the ancient Rome because I never shut up about it and she has to deal with it. So at least I could see a couple of brilliant vampires, wherever
You
the heck
should-
they are.
Just embrace it, Metatron. Just to let it roll
That's-
over
It's
you
called
and
buried.
enjoy it.
Yeah, like
Hang on tight,
Give and
Spider
take.
Monkey.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Sounds good. It's fine. I'll get a Warhammer table over here soon, so it's fine.
man, that's a rabbit hole I cannot go down.
Hey, can I say one more thing about Wicked?
Yeah.
Yes.
Please.
Okay, there's a cameo in it that if you know anything about the Broadway show, you are going to freak out over it.
Yeah.
Like freak out.
But that's kind of like that's out there though. They know.
Yeah,
that,
that's well
you know?
known.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Is it
Andy
Chris,
actress?
Krista Chenoweth and
Idina Menzel.
Who's an American
Oh my
God?
God.
both make like a quick cameo appearance in the movie.
They make it. They sing. They
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah.
But they were Glinda and Elphaba on Broadway for a long time, right?
Yep. So
Alphaba. What the hell?
Elphaba.
Elphaba? I don't
Elphaba.
Is that like the Iranian
Elphaba.
version?
It's okay. It's okay. Applicable. Applicable. It's all right.
I don't know.
Applicable. Applicable.
B Chain 315 for Fitty. This is Hail FNT drinker. Metatron, sub to Metatron when he was under
Thank you.
100,000. And now he's near 1 million.
wow.
Ooh.
How close are you to 1 million?
Oh, 70K, I think I need another.
You're almost
All
there,
right.
baby.
Damn.
Oh.
I've already got the space for the two. You know.
Wow.
Getting ready for it. I love it.
Raph,
That's good.
what subs were you on when we met?
How many subs I had when we met?
Yeah, were we like in the 50s or
Um,
something?
No, I think I was like 10,000, 15,000.
Something like that. It
It
was
was very early. It was very early on.
back when we were
When
up
you're
and
still
coming
together.
YouTubers, man.
Yeah. I haven't got a clue how we managed that, considering we're quite niche.
Yeah.
Like,
if you need a respite from the Jaguar commercial, watch the Dodge ad of Robin Williams as Washington running down redcoats in a Challenger. USA. Oh, we've all seen it.
USA.
Ryan, not this Ryan, the other Ryan, for 50 euros says, is it me or has Ridley Scott become incompetent between Napoleon and Gladiator 2? I think he needs to retire.
Yeah.
If you're going to be this grossly and historically inaccurate, can we at least get a good script?
Did he write the script or did he just directing it?
I don't know.
Xenomorph wrote the script.
Yes, it did.
I mean, I keep saying it.
It wants revenge for all the post Aliens film, or Alien 3 and Alien 4 too, but I don't count those.
Man, Napoleon with the, oh my gosh, you just reminded me, the nose being blown off by a cannonball from the Napoleon soldier.
Oh,
we have iconography of the Sphinx without the nose that predates Napoleon. It's impossible.
It's all bullshit.
I haven't seen Napoleon. They really did that?
Good.
Yes, they
Good
did.
Yes.
Holy crap.
Yeah,
and we
like
have
urban
the
legend,
images.
and they included it. That's stupid.
Yeah, it's like he's so easily debunkable. It's ridiculous. It's but yeah.
The People's Doc for $99.99.
Wow.
Long-time listener here. Started with Drinker's Top Gun Maverick review. You have all got me through a lot. You are my media now. Hail the 199. Thank you. We are the media. It's great to see them falling apart. Is MSNBC really for sale?
Yeah. And CNN's having like a lot of layoffs right now as well.
Well, the bottom fell out.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, well. I know like Donald Trump Jr. tweeted like, you want to buy, or, insinuating like, hey, Elon, I've got a great idea. And Elon responded, how much does it cost? That would be pretty fun. Then put Alex Jones on it on MSNBC.
Oh, that'd be great.
That seemed to be very widespread, though. The moment the election happened, everyone on that kind of side was like, I've lost subs, I've lost subscribers, I've lost loads of money from it. And it did seem there was kind of an exodus of just, this isn't popular anymore. And then just immediately...
Well, not just that. It's the fact that they were so fucking wrong.
Because it wasn't popular for years, or some could argue it was never popular. It was a bullshit narrative that fell apart.
And you couldn't ignore the amount of votes.
Look at how confident they were going in. Like, it's going to be a landslide for Kamala and stuff like that. And they were so drastically wrong. It should. If anyone is paying attention, they should realize, these clowns have no credibility. Why the hell is anyone listening to them? And so it looks like some people did realize
to be honest, I was live when the election happened, and because I was trying to have my audience explain to me how American elections work. It's not like that I understand why one state has more votes than another. I was trying to figure it out, right? And I called it early on. Like, I called it. I'm like, yeah, Trump is going to win. Like, I knew it. You could see it. Not to mention, again, I'm a moderate, so I'm very kind of centric when it comes to this. And once again, I don't understand American politics as much as I imagine all of you do. But I called it. It was so obvious. I mean, Harris made some terrible mistakes when it comes to strategy, literal strategy.
Saying she wouldn't change a thing was a big one.
Yeah. That's a
well,
huge
when
one
someone
right
says, what, Christ is king, and she's like, oh, you're at the wrong rally.
Yeah.
Like,
the importance of religion within politics is like, if you don't understand that, you can't do politics. It's a backbone of voters. That one, I was like,
I couldn't believe she said that. I'm glad she said it, because that was a mask off. It's like, that's what the Democrats really think about you. Just remember that. Yeah. So,
but to me, like the actual politics of it all, it means less than sort of the perception of what was dominant.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people were there because they felt like this is the place to be, this is the future, this is what most people believe, and that was just incontrovertible proof that that is not popular, and everyone immediately, well, not everyone obviously, but a lot of people immediately ditched it for what they saw to be the next dominant thing that they were going to believe.
It's like a tribalistic behavior.
And I think a lot of people, for unsubscribes and things like that, I think that's a lot of people who genuinely believed what this person was telling them.
Yeah.
You know, and when it goes so the opposite of what this person's saying, you're like, what the fuck? You've been spinning all of this. This isn't real. I've been lied to. Fuck you. I'm leaving.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Be honest. It's kind of simple, but it's hard.
It's hard for a lot of
It's hard for some people.
Be honest.
Yeah.
Ministry of Wrong Thing for $49.99 says the difference between Gary, Indiana, which I drove through, and Gary Beekler.
Hopefully it went quick and we're on the toll road.
Yeah.
I was on the toll road and it was at night, so I didn't get to see much.
There you go.
One's run down, can't read, is known for jail sentences and selling drugs. Wait, actually, very funny.
There's actually a beautiful minor league baseball team called the Gary Railcats, a beautiful stadium. It's right off the toll road, actually. But do not go to night games there. Do not.
Okay.
That's my only suggestion. Don't go to night games there.
Yeah, Gary, Indiana, a little sketchy. Sketchy. Chant of Muldea for $104.20. Very specific. Thank you. Greetings, panel. First super chat.
I want to give you 100 and 420, Gary.
Oh, 420. 420. Yeah, because that's what I'm known for. little past the stage, that stage. I'm a coder exploring AI after hearing Chris Gore mention its potential. Quick question. Stranded is Mongolian's steps. Who do you choose? A, horse B. A, a horse, B, a woman, D, both. Or what? I'm completely fucking this up.
Yeah. If you were stranded in the steppes, what would you have to essentially escape or live there? I guess.
Yeah.
If you Mongolia, which will you choose? Is that's
a horse,
Mongolian,
a woman,
pretend
both, or neither?
Is the woman your wife or just some
Can
random?
you ride the woman?
Yes, obviously.
Well,
If she gets you anywhere, I don't know.
Or if you chank the horse.
Well, it's Mongolia, so riding a woman might have a little different reference there, but
yeah, the horse gets you to like civilization. I don't want to leave.
And other women.
Yeah.
But
the woman just ride on the horse with you?
But that's the option for both. But you know,
yeah, there is an option for both. Yeah.
I'll take both.
Save
Not
a
to
horse,
fuck,
ride a woman.
One to ride, and one to be ridden by.
I hope you don't swap the meaning, though.
Yeah, really. Hail FNT capitalism in America. Yes. God bless capitalism. JD for Fitty says, just tuned in, and here's my favorite history YouTuber joining my favorite nerds. Welcome, Metatron.
Oh, hi. Thank you.
Yes, if they ever do a highly inaccurate historical drama, which could happen very soon, we'll have you back. We'll have you back whenever.
I appreciate it.
Chant of Muldea for another $104.20. Thank you. My real question, any advice on writing excuse plots for games? By that, I mean plots designed to highlight mechanics the devs think might make the game fun or not. How do you balance narrative versus gameplay? Asking as a coder trying to revive my favorite game genre. Well, I'm a gaming expert, so obviously, no, I have no fucking idea. Shad's a writer.
Yeah, but I'm not a game writer. This is a really specific kind of question that I don't have any experience with. Yeah, something I could give it a go at, but I would want to try it before I tell people how to do it.
Where's Mark the Cyborg when you need him?
Well, people as a whole like a whole range. So you got like Metal Gear Solids, which are just almost movies with little gameplay in the middle. Then you've got massive gameplay and just we're gonna get the plot out of the way. So there's a whole range of stuff. I would always say make the mechanics compelling, because at the end of the day, it's something people are doing a lot, and if they're hooked, they'll go through the story.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's far harder to make something with a compelling story and bad mechanics. Look at The Last of Us 2.
Yeah, and he's kind of asking how to write a used story to explain certain mechanics, and that's an interesting question. I'm trying to think of a game that actually does that, and I'm coming up blank at the moment. So,
well, Andromeda is a good example of a game that has great mechanics and a shit story. So, come up with something in the mechanics that you feel that fits best with your narrative.
I thought of one actually. Dragon's Dogma has a story reason in the world for the pawns, and it actually ends up being quite a crucial and large story element. And it's kind of engaging because the pawns you control them as
amazing game.
I love the games.
Loved it.
The sequel wasn't as good as the original, but I still enjoyed it. But they actually go into, because you create the pawns and you control them fully. There's a story in their world. They don't really have any autonomy or soul. And then they explore about, can a pawn get a personality and autonomy and other things like that. And so I think that did it all right. That was kind of fun, integrating both story and game mechanic like that.
Magneto was right. Has gifted 10 Nerdrotic memberships for Fitty. Thank you. This week, we're going to continue Clarkson's Farm on the watch party. I've been trying to figure out what I'm going to watch. And considering all the farmer issues, I think we should watch more Clarkson's Farm. Plus,
when's the next season? When's the next season now?
I think my best guess is February, March of next year. As soon as they're done filming, they need 3 months of editing. And they were still filming because they filmed the protest. They were there.
Yeah, I know. They had the big cameras there, and I was like, that looks like they're filming for the next season.
And it looks like that's what they were waiting for. But they renewed it for season 4 ahead of season 3. Again, before the Rings of Power season 3 has been officially renewed, which has anybody heard? Has it been renewed?
Not heard anything.
No.
Did you see his interview with the BBC about the protest?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, that was really well handled. And my favorite thing is they're trying to hold over him the fact that he was like, oh, well, I did it to avoid tax. It's like, no, I actually wanted to go shooting, but that would have offended you more than me trying to avoid tax, so I just lied to you.
And they were trying to loop him in to talk about immigration too, and he didn't bite. And
I hate the BBC.
I fucking hate the BBC.
Everybody hates the BBC.
But he came out on that speech and he said, listen, this doesn't apply to me. I'm a rich guy. I'm fine. I'm here for the farmers. And that's real, and he's been the best thing for British farming and for farming overall
in the world.
In the world,
awareness to this industry, and I'm so grateful.
Yeah, that little show. I did get a comment on Twitter. It's like, you recommended the show, and I thought it'd be just a fun little nature show, but no, it's politics and councils and how difficult. And I'm like, yeah, but it's still funny and compelling, and it's the best show on TV, by far. So
it turns out that Jeremy Clarkson might be one of the greatest TV kind of creators, at least over here, because he was the one that handpicked I can't remember his name.
James May?
No, not James May, the other one.
Hammond.
He basically picked him, and he seems to be really good at just going out and finding people that he
James
knows
May
works
too.
together in a show. Well, I think he knew James May as
he knew him because he was writing for a magazine at the time.
Yeah, but managing to put those together into a show that works, because he's done it multiple times. And this is basically just Top Gear on a farm. And they've shown they can do that before. If you ever want, Top Gear does Ground Force, is amazing. It's on YouTube. And they've done where they just built a road, but it was Top Gear builds a road, and that was great as well. So it's a thing that works.
I mean, the dynamic between him and what's the guy's name? I can't believe I forgot it.
Richard Hammond or James?
No. I'm talking about on Clarkson Farm.
Caleb.
Caleb. The dynamic between him and Caleb is hilarious.
It's amazing.
And it's funny because Caleb, I don't think he ever envisioned that he would be,
No, he was a farmer who never left the town. He was talking in the first episode. He's like, the first way I've been from home was 12 miles.
And he has no idea.
He went
how
to London
charismatic...
once and wouldn't get out of the bus.
Yeah. He's like a hidden talent. He's so charismatic and funny and blunt that he just works so well. And I don't know how he managed that, because he was already working on Jeremy's Farm before the show started, and then is a primary character and is brilliant. And
You will find a lot about that, especially the idea of, I was just born in the country, I like the country, I don't like you city folk, is very common. In Wales, you can travel all over Wales, you find loads of that kind of attitude. But I would have said, if you'd told me that a £3 million farm made 30 grand and that his show hadn't existed, I wouldn't have believed you. There's no way I would have thought anyone would even bother the effort just to make that amount of money off that.
In an
you just
entertaining way,
live your life.
When they do this is a show where they do the books for the farm and they make it entertaining.
Yes, yeah.
They make it a competition, and then they show you his first season. He makes 1,400 pounds, nothing. He makes nothing. And he's like, Jesus Christ, how do these people do it? And then he talks to real farmers, right? So you see how sad that is. And it's also funny how incompetent, Jeremy goes out and gets gets a fucking Lamborghini tractor. It's like, what the fuck?
But he also tries to innovate to try and find a way to make
Like
it
the
profitable.
mushrooms.
And then the council just puts a boot on it. Like they do not want them to be successful or to innovate, have a restaurant.
When he
and that restaurant would have benefited so many farmers in his
and it was
community.
so sad to see it gone when we went there. And Shad, by the way, Shad and I, we signed the wall inside. If you ever go to Clarkson's farm and go to the shop back, they have a little cafe, right? And there's a wall where people sign. Shad and I signed that wall. So if you're ever there, look for it.
I watched a video recently from the Wandering Turnip. He visited, this guy is basically, he was homeless, and someone guy just let him have his own land to build something. And so, like the stone walls that don't have any kind of concrete in them or anything, it's just all built from stone.
Dry stone, I love him.
This guy built a castle, essentially, out of that.
I think I've seen the video.
And it's really impressive. And the council went, you can't have that there. Like, why? Well, it's for agriculture. And so you've built, this is a commercial residence now, because people went, like tourists went to see it because it's really impressive.
It looks great. I've seen the video. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So they said, like, you can't have that for agriculture now. You've changed the thing, so you've got to knock it down. So he tried to do everything they wanted. He knocked down part of it. He changed all the things, and then he went, no, all of it's gone. And so he's got to dismantle the entire thing. And this thing must have taken thousands of hours by the looks of it to build. It's incredibly impressive.
And it's his own land.
And the council just went, no.
It's
on private. It's on private land. Everybody loves it. The local town went to visit it, which is what changed its non-agricultural use. Just because they started having like local community people going there because it's a great thing to have like barbecues and stuff. It improves the area, and the council like no.
There's a scene where he's trying to just dig a road to his fucking restaurant, and the council won't let him make a road on his own property.
And even they were amazed. They were like, I have never heard of a farm track being turned down on a farm before. And it's just because it's him. It is spiteful and it's targeted because they do not like it. Because what you essentially got, he's in a very wealthy area, and maybe not the farmers, but there's a lot of rich people that live there, and they don't like their roads being clogged up. And so the right people know the right people, and the council are just going like, no, we despise this being in our area, and we want to punish you.
Yep.
I mean, it shows the inherent corruption and stuff like that. When it's so many people, they get a little bit of power, they love to swing it around and just,
and that's what it shows. That's what that show displays is just the pure bureaucracy and corruption. Joseph Fabre for $10 says, for the drinkers, Scots, it says Wahe. I don't know. That's some Scottish shit. I don't know. Hail to all the fellowship. Hail.
Wahe.
Wahe. It's Wahe.
I didn't fucking making it up. I don't know. Wahe. I don't know what it means.
I was reminded on Twitter. How many people know that there was a sequel to Braveheart?
It's called Braveheart 2.
No,
the Outlaw King.
Robert the Bruce.
Oh yeah, actually yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah, I completely forgot about it.
Like, I was surprised that people didn't, because I was talking on my stream the other day about Aladdin for some reason, and people didn't know that there was Return of Jafar and King of Thieves, like the direct sequels to Aladdin. Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah.
Well, on Braveheart, just watch The Outlaw King. It's actually a decent one. Got Chris.
It's good.
Yeah, it's good. I enjoyed The Outlaw King.
Pine, yeah.
Chris Pine. It's on Netflix, and that's actually like if you want a kind of spiritual sequel to Braveheart, that's a good one. Good film.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll watch that.
It's good
when I have time. There's a lot of stuff to watch in the next month. Holy crap!
Chad, you get to see his dick.
No,
okay,
I liked it because they had
Thanks.
coats of plates and logical ways to overtake castles. Metatron, did you see The Outlaw King with Chris Pine?
Yes, absolutely, I did. Yeah.
What did you think of it?
Not bad. I mean, there was some of the elements of I like the shields were nice. Some of the helmets were weirdly massive, like the male coifs were like huge. This guy looked like he had this big of a head. So the armor department was not great, and also the fact that they charged, isn't it the one where they charge with swords instead of lances? Is that the Outlaw King or the King? I get confused because everything is King.
I can't remember, but I like the fact that they did stall the siege in the look. They mixed up the battles. That the tactic they used in one battle was misappropriated to the historical battle, saying it happened. But they did use the same tactics by getting the horse chargers stuck in a bog. I like the coats of plates. I already mentioned the way they took over several castles were logical by sneaking in and
it was fun. It was enjoyable. Yeah, it was buckler. Is it the one with bucklers, like the archers that are carrying the buckler shields? I don't know which one I'm getting.
No, they got a lot of them have heater shields in it.
Okay,
but they look like
that. They look great. They don't have the little metal rim that you see on every video game, which is not like just parchment and canvas.
Rawhide stretched over.
Rawhide, yeah, it's good. Yeah.
This must be like what it's like to watch Star Trek people talk about how much energy it takes to use a transport.
Oh, we didn't even talk about that. Holy shit! Unification, real quick, because I got to get to that. I'll talk more about it on the Rumble bonus hour, but as a matter of fact, we'll save for that. But Unification was fucking beautiful. That was if you want to go by to just Star Trek. Picard season 3 was pretty good for the Next Generation, but for all of Star Trek, just watch a 7.5 minute video with one brief but no lines of dialogue with Kirk entering the Nexus, the afterlife, and saying goodbye. Like this could be like that's just the cherry on top of all the original great Star Trek. It's fucking beautiful. I've watched it like 15 times. It's so good.
Probably some of the best de-aging combined with face replacement AI I've ever seen.
It's not a lot of it's not face replacement. They showed on Twitter today, like Sam Witwer with like he looked like Kirk. They put the makeup has him looking like Kirk.
Yeah,
it's insane.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. We'll talk about it in the Rumble bonus hour. Green Blossom for £2 says Ryan drives a Jag.
I have no idea what that means.
I gotta say, listen, that was about to be my next purchase, and because of that commercial, I am no longer purchasing Jaguars. Okay, like that was what made me.
I will not purchase a car I have never purchased in my life. So there you go.
My Nissan. Bree got me a good deal.
That's right. You got a Nissan. See, that's how you say it correctly. It's not
Nissan.
Nissan. It's Jaguar. That's why we beat the shit out of you.
Yeah. Gene the Revenant for $10 says rewatch the Indiana Jones trilogy because there's only 3, and you're right, there is only 3 films. And I have a question for the panel. Which one of Indy's allies, male or female, would you recruit as a sidekick while tracking down an artifact? Sala.
Yeah, that's the best one.
Fucking Sala.
He's the most competent.
Absolutely.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge, just so I could see her crushed by a boulder.
Short round.
I was gonna say short round.
Oh, short round's all right.
It kind of gets in the way and just needs to be.
But we're talking about getting an artifact. If you want to like hang out, I'd say Marion. Okay.
Of course. Yeah. I'll have connections and be able to figure shit out.
You know, short round. You could probably crawl through some really tight spaces in a tomb or something. So there's that.
Look out for love.
Paul Stromby for $9.99. Really happy to see Ryan Drake next week. The books are amazing. The characters started to feel like old friends of mine by the time I reached book 9. Book 9. I love that he brings in Dyatlov Pass in that last book. That's Forbidden Frontier stuff. Go watch Drake was on Forbidden Frontier a year ago, right? X-Ray Girl? Was it a year ago?
Around?
Yeah. It's a good episode.
Before summer.
Grandmaster Chris for $9.99. Hey guys, I hear hype for the Rey movie is down in a blaze of glory. I'm no one's son. Call me Young Gun, who wins the following cross matchup. Luke Skywalker versus Harry Potter. Jeremy is gay. No, he's a homosexual man. Who wins, Luke Skywalker or Harry Potter? That's a
and Luke Skywalker block Avada Kedavra.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Ooh, probably
the Force block Harry Potter magic.
But Harry Potter probably wouldn't use that. So
no.
But if you just honorable fight. Hold on. But if you just use Expelliarmus, his lightsaber's gone.
But he can pull it back with the Force.
Pull back using a Force.
Yeah.
And can Harry Potter defend against a Force push or a Force choke? Luke is willing to do a Force choke. He did it against some pigmen.
I don't think Luke would do it after Jedi. Let's see. That's
a real tough one. That would take some thought because they do balance each other out, and you just have to ask. Okay, so it's full Jedi Luke, and is it young Harry Potter or adult Harry Potter?
You say adult Harry Potter, but still but if you're working within the rules for those characters, Harry wouldn't use Avada Kedavra.
No, he wouldn't. No, he wouldn't.
But there are
I don't think Luke would chop Harry's head off with the lightsaber. So,
but pretend they were just full on trying to kill each other, and
then Harry Potter. Like I don't think that Luke can block the, I don't think he can block the killing curse.
Yeah, because you can do that from a long distance. You know,
Yeah, that's the kicker right there.
Now,
If,
Luke
it's
can
not
just,
close,
if
I'm
Luke can
going
just,
with Luke because a wand's not going
well,
to beat a
does
lightsaber.
Harry Potter have his broom? He's a good flyer
Yeah, there's
too.
that too.
Yeah.
but if like Luke gets the first like move and he just kind of like pulls Harry to him and incapacitates him, like what are you gonna do? Like,
All right. New question: can Harry Potter block a bullet? Could someone with a gun beat Harry Potter?
He's not aware of them.
Okay, adult Harry Potter. He probably could.
Well,
it wouldn't block it. You could probably turn it into dust. You know.
Yeah, you could probably use a spell to transfigure it, or I don't even know. If
I don't know. It's
Protego would be able
moving
to-
too fast. I don't think you could target it or get the spell off.
Well,
in
yeah,
time.
and there's a bullet right behind it as well.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's contextual. It's anecdotal.
ARG, another name for 1999. The Jag earnings call explains the terrible ad. Their CEO announced their strategy is to sell fewer cars at a higher price. They are targeting the champagne socialists that will spend money to virtue signal. Okay. Hope there's a lot of those. They're going to be like an artisanal car company. Like what the fuck? And the meanwhile, like it was funny that Elon trolled was like, "Do you sell cars?" You know,
I think it's just a case of everyone overestimates their own community as being way larger than it is because you're just surrounded by older people.
Yep.
So you think the rest of the world is just you.
Yeah, exactly. And it's become such an insular bubble, and it's a trend. I'll talk about this more in Rumble bonus hour. There's subject matter I can't get into here. Bloodhaven 86 for $20. Hail fellowship and hail drinker. Just wanted to say I'm an actual gay man who's conservative, doesn't believe in God, voted for Trump, and owns lots of guns and can't wait for the world to start healing. Love you, nerds. Cheers.
Awesome.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here.
Do you think that Luke Skywalker could like force push a spell? Like if a spell's coming his way, could he force push it?
If they're in the same universe, I think you have to take that they're both using the Force in different ways. So his magic would essentially spring from the same kind of well of power.
That's an interesting way to look at it. Though, like even if they weren't, the spells that actually manifest matter, I think, would be affected by the Force.
Dude,
like,
transfiguring would win then. He would just turn Luke into a rat.
Well, here's the thing, because spells bounce off things. Yeah, you know what I mean?
do.
Like they bounce off each other. Like so, there is like some matter to them. It feels like, right?
Yes.
I don't know if the Protego charm could protect Harry from physical. I think it does. Like if you threw a book at Harry, he was using Protego charm. I think the book would bounce off. So in theory, a strong enough Protego charm or strong enough shield charm should protect him from a bullet. We're talking about the bullet thing again.
Maybe.
Could it block a lightsaber? Could a wall of magical energy block a lightsaber?
I would say yes. I think it could.
Yeah.
I do think this has to be like full-grown Harry Potter, like Auror Harry Potter, because kid Harry Potter was like he was kind of lucky, but he wasn't like the best duelist or anything. Now put Luke Skywalker up against like Kingsley Shacklebolt, see what happens, you know.
Because I think their protective magic must have like a limit of force that they like, you know, a strong enough power would break through. And in that sense, Luke, like depending on how strong the canon we're getting on, like his force powers get pretty darn tough. Are we accepting the Mandalorian where he crushes the thing just?
What was that again, Shad? I need to hear that crushing sound. That was very accurate. I was looking at now.
What are you looking at?
I was looking up a charm. Okay, imperturbable charm, but it's what they put on the door to stop the extendable ears
from listening.
It stops people from listening, but it doesn't really block anything else.
It just kind of like if you throw something at the door, it will like move away.
Yeah.
If I remember that,
I don't know if that affects bullets or anything though.
That was from Order of the Phoenix when Ginny's throwing dung bombs to check and see if the door is imperturbable, see if they can listen in.
Yep.
I just think in Harry Potter, a couple of AR-15s would have really helped them out in that last battle.
Probably, maybe a tank.
Yeah,
I love those edits like Harry Potter if it was American.
Well, the thing is, they do explain anything electronic won't work around Hogwarts or a lot of magic.
Correct.
Oh,
they do explain that.
There was a game called Arcanum that was really good about that as well. It had technology and magic, and them being together interfered with each other because technology relies on the law of physics, but magic breaks the law of physics. So if magic is done next to technology, because like gravity and things change, the technology no longer works.
Reset the Cripple for $10. Gary, I know this is normally a frontier topic, but since you have a history buff in Metatron that just recently found out about Göbekli Tepe, what do you think of season 2 of Ancient Apocalypse? I love it. I don't think it's good as the first season, but I love it. Have you? You just found out about Göbekli Tepe?
I mostly just found out about Hancock.
Okay. Good. Have you watched Ancient Apocalypse on Netflix?
Not the Ancient Apocalypse. No, I watched and reacted to Lex Friedman's interview podcast, and I'm thinking of perhaps reacting to Joe Rogan as well. And then I suppose I'll watch it because it's intriguing. I find it fascinating. I'm always open to like listening to different hypotheses and theories. It's great. I won't automatically believe it, but it's interesting that I'm all for asking questions anyways. So it
is a crazy place. Another channel you want to check out because they were involved early on before even archaeologists got there is Megalithomania. Hugh Newman, Andrew Collins, those guys, we've interviewed them both. They know a lot about it. Now they have
I'll check it out,
theories, but like the facts about it, right, as we know right now, is it's really fucking old. It's pre-civilization. It's pre-Stonehenge by thousands of years. It was deliberately buried. And no one can explain it.
And they're purposely not trying to excavate anymore, which is like bizarre.
That's kind of strange.
Yeah, there's some truth to that. They're excavating other sites. But yes, the World Economic Forum getting involved in anything, people should always be suspicious about that. Period. End of story. And like that's it. I don't trust them.
How did they get involved with that?
They are doing some funding because it's become a big moneymaker for Turkey. Tourism has shot up for Turkey because of this. They're becoming like a mini Egypt, right? And same with Peru. Peru like heavily relies on tourism because of the rise again of this. Trends go in cycles. The Atlantis theory and all that was very popular in the early 1800s and the 70s. It's very popular. The ancient civilization theory is very popular now because they're actually finding evidence, right?
Ancient
astronauts. But like we can always think where I think it comes from is it's humans. I think it's humans. That's it. I think there was, I think enough.
Yeah, I see.
We have been humans for long enough with this brain, and they're trying to say, so we've been around. It keeps getting pushed back, but according to science, this type of human that we are has been around for 300,000 years.
Modern humans, yes.
But we only started civilization 6,000 years ago with the same brain.
Oh, like 10.
It's not the same brain. Since like
it is the same brain.
No, since 1880, we've lost like 15 to 20 IQ points.
Okay, so they were smarter.
Depending on like
then
selection,
I agree. Your
thing
smarter,
actually goes up and down. So civilization can increase and decline based on.
That's the whole point. Is they say civilization is only technically increased, even with little declines. It's like the stock market; it always goes up. What Graham is saying is like we had a differently advanced civilization that might have been as advanced as say the Romans were 50,000 years ago, 100,000 years ago, and they were wiped off the face of the earth. Through a cataclysm.
Cataclysmic event. I do believe that there is most likely an event did happen because we find it in all sorts. I have my own video on Sodom and Gomorrah where we discuss all of the parallelism with the Akkadian religion, where there is this mention of the gods raining fire and all other, and actually 7 weapons. In fact, in the Akkadian, it's even more detailed, that destroy completely cities. And I think that the collective memory of a cataclysm as an impact, because it's shared so much, it must have happened. That's my opinion. Now I don't know if there was a civilization like that, like an ice age advanced civilization. I have no idea, but the impact I do believe that existed, religion or not.
Absolutely. That caused floods. I mean, we had 2 miles of ice. Canada was completely covered in it, and it disappeared geologically overnight. Also, if you want an interesting scientific documentary to watch, which is brilliant and it'll blow your fucking mind, Unknown Cave of Bones on Netflix. So it's a 250,000-year-old hominid species that basically look like a chimp, right? They ritualistically buried their dead. They buried them with tools. They put religious symbols over their grave. They put them in the fetal position. They didn't just like leave them out. Like, so it shows signs of possible spirituality,
ceremonial burial.
Yeah, it's fucking insane and it's real. and you watch that documentary. It'll blow your fucking mind.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Let's go back to this. I don't want to get Forbidden Frontier, Sundays, 5:30 p.m.
I have been enjoying the second season. I'm not through it yet, but I'm enjoying it.
I'm enjoying it too. It was great seeing it premiere when we were in Peru. That was wild. Like we were watching the episode where he's like walking around Sacsayhuaman. It's like I was there like 2 hours ago. That's crazy. Hunter DeVrock for $9.99. So Joey, do you like movies? So Joey, do you like movies about gladiators? That's opening my video. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. What I'm not gonna title it is I am not entertained. I'm not gonna do it. Everybody else is doing it. Drinker did, and that's great. I ain't doing it. Not gonna do it. But maybe I say it a lot in the video. Vimorian for 20 Chilean pesos. Oh no, Swiss francs. Hail from Switzerland. Amazed to see Drinker and Metatron on the same stream. It's pretty awesome. I love this show. That was not on my bingo card. Here is to making new friends. On that note, you should try to invite Roanoke Gaming for FNT or Forbidden Frontier. Roanoke Gaming. What is it? Is it like Ancient Civilizations and a gaming channel? I mean, like mysteries and a gaming channel? That'd be kind of a weird setup. Roanoke, what happened? I think they just went and had a bunch of sex with Indians, but that's me. That one
Probably
guy,
some other stuff happened too,
or they got murdered.
Yeah,
and the wives were taken away and had sex with Indians. Happy birthday, Ryan! That's right. I was telling everybody to wish Ryan a happy birthday for the rest of the month because he loves birthday month. He absolutely loves it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was pretty drunk when I came on here last week.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
It was entertaining, and Ryan, you held up great, buddy. You held up great.
That's why all this extra space is in here, so my brain can still function when half of it's asleep due to alcoholism. Right?
I thought it was full of water.
No, it's pretty much just straight bourbon.
It's not wet brain. This guy for 10
Wild
Canadian
turkey.
pesos. He just donates it and walks away. Thank you. Appreciate it. Jake Skywalker for $1.99. Hail Metatron, the Fellowship has spread its wings. Yes.
Yes.
Trump mage level 199 for 2 British pounds. Awful from Perry. His X-ray girl had no beauty mole. Poor. Wow. Criticism of Perry. Harsh criticism of Perry. But valid. Darth Hawk Gaming for $10. I started working on Wizard Bane, a new fantasy RPG tabletop experience when I first learned of the OGL debacle almost 2 years ago. Wizard Bane will be available starting November 23rd. Ooh, it's coming up. Good job. Make your own shit. Norm Al Man for 10 Canadian pesos. Metatron and FNT. This is an event of legendary proportions. I agree.
Hi.
Glad you're here, man. Thanks for coming on.
Absolutely.
Piston
Thank you for having me.
No, we're going to invite you back. Now you're in trouble. X-Ray Girl, where is your... Oh, okay. X-Ray Girl. Perry Chan, best fucking... So we were talking... Chris was trying to talk X-Ray Girl into putting on green makeup and dressing up as Wicked. So Chris is really pushing this. Like you gotta do
really
it. You gotta
hard.
do it,
I don't
man.
understand why
Harry
he wanted it.
comes in and just says, just put blue makeup on and it'll turn green.
That's funny.
Think about
Love you,
it.
Perry.
Think about it.
Yeah, I got
Got to think about your primary colors for that one, you know.
Savage. It's so good. Yeah, I don't know where her blue paint is. Frank promised. He did promise.
I'm sorry.
This guy. Yeah, you disappointed everybody. X-Ray Girl. Live with that.
Maybe next time.
So selfish.
Why
do
do
it to my
women cover
parents
their
all the
mouths
time.
like that when they laugh?
I don't know. It's such an Asian thing. No idea why.
I think no.
It's a woman thing.
It's a woman thing. You don't want men to see you with your mouths wide open. You don't want to give them a preview. For some reason, I guess.
Yeah, no freebie.
What? This guy for 10 Canadian pesos. Happy birthday month, Ryan. I'm not saying your forehead is massive, but I hear you need to take two trains and a bus to put a hat on.
Oh my god.
What am I supposed to do? Get bangs or something? Like
No.
what am I supposed to do? I
That was
think
in the
that would work.
song.
I look emo.
Dude, the best one. I keep finding a new favorite, but the best one. He's been holding that thought his entire life.
You can grow it. You can grow it. Grow it to your
There
waist.
you go, Ryan.
There we
There you
go.
go. Oh,
It's a
emo
grower.
Ryan, everybody.
I can
God.
he's getting ready to start cutting himself.
My favorite this time
like
was
how you
his
look like
hairdresser
an
stands on the
anime
second
character.
floor.
That's my favorite
Yes.
too. The second floor one is
Look at
great.
that.
Oh,
Doesn't help that you have your camera raised on perspective, so it makes it look,
Yeah, your camera's crooked.
I
by
like
the way,
I
Ryan.
like the line that's like your height is 6 feet and your eyes say 5'9".
God, this side's long as shit.
Yeah, it is.
Just do a
Yeah,
side
it's too
swept
long. It's
thing.
too long.
Yeah,
I
you
know
gotta go-
exactly. That's
That's what she said.
Gotta go back to supercuts.
It makes it even worse.
Bloodhaven 86 for $5. Gary Drinker, everyone, why aren't you and the G&G group on Criticalist? I'll get there. Criticalist is the alternative to
Rotten Tomatoes.
Odin, to Rotten Tomatoes.
Tomatoes.
To Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, go
It's
check out
not. It's not an aggregator. You know,
No.
it's like actually taking. Hey, if you give this movie an 80, somebody else gives it a 30. They're taking those averages. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not an aggregation site where it's
Yep.
like, oh well, everyone thinks this movie's kind of a 6 out of 10, but since everyone thinks it's just above average, it'll look like everyone thinks it's a 99 or something.
Yeah, Criticalist is real, and Rotten Tomatoes is utter and complete bullshit, and always has been. It's a marketing tool.
It is.
Owned by NBC Universal, but they really love Disney. So yeah, go to Criticalist. Jay Chain for $1.99. Over under on Disparu stealing Ellen. Well, I mean, you got the lesbian over there, Disparu.
Why can't you
fix
send
her?
attractive people over here? That's what I want to know. We got James Corden and Ellen. It's like you're not sending your best.
No, we're sending the gays back to you.
At least one came from over here, but
Elon
Ellen.
shared a tweet that had her praising Diddy or something like that. And it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
like,
It's
oh,
an old one, yeah.
that's why she's leaving.
Yeah. I mean, I really wish something would come from that, but it won't.
Yeah.
It won't. I wonder what's going to happen. We haven't heard much.
Probably
The Diddy
nothing.
Files. Whoa, bro, for $9.99. Last FNT for me as an unmarried man. Big day is tomorrow, then off to
nice.
Jamaica. Any advice for the newlyweds? Yeah, don't go outside in Jamaica. As a matter of fact, lock your doors.
You're
in
making me
Jamaica.
crazy.
Maybe
Yeah.
don't go to Jamaica for your honeymoon. Okay. A friend of mine got stabbed there in his house, in the house he rented. Yeah, it's
Oh, damn.
yeah. Be careful
It's
in
so
Jamaica.
crazy. I
but
can't
the
believe there's
bobsled
any crime
team.
in Jamaica. So advice for you
Congratulations,
getting
sorry.
married?
that's the last time he has advice from here. For a
Yeah.
year.
If you're
You
going
don't
to a
go.
resort,
Advice, I'll give it to you. Don't go to fucking Jamaica.
and if you are going to go, you're going to a resort.
Italy,
Don't leave the
Florence.
resort.
Go to Italy.
Ooh, Italy.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll give you some
Jamaica, we have a
genuine
bobsled
advice.
Dude, you'll
team.
get really good espresso, amazing food. The only thing that's confusing for us Americans is they go pronto, pronto when you pick up the phone, and you're like, for
Yeah.
us, that's Spanish for hurry the fuck up. So we start hurry. We go,
Oh,
okay,
right. I never thought about it that way. No, for us,
Yeah.
it just means ready.
Yeah,
So,
it's
like,
ready.
Oh.
that's what we say, ready. I don't even know why we say it. But yeah.
Ready?
Ready.
Ready.
Yeah.
I don't know if
actually
this
want
is-
to advice, learn everything you can from this first one so you're ready for the second one.
Oh,
Ryan's right. You got to get that first one out of the way.
No,
make
If
sure
you
the
do-
third person in your marriage is
make a
God.
first one count.
As long as you
Dude,
did the work up front,
That
you should
marriage
be
has
okay.
lasted 21 years. Okay.
Oh.
First one, 7.
I don't know if this is worthy news or not, but Elon Musk just replied to a tweet from Grums.
Oh.
Like,
Hey,
Yeah.
hand crumbs.
and he's pointing out that Wizards of the Coast just did an article trashing out the creator of D&D, Gynax and others. And Elon replied saying, nobody, and I mean nobody, gets to trash Gary Gygax and the geniuses who created Dungeons and Dragons. What the F is wrong with Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast? May they
Yeah.
burn in hell.
Whoa.
Hell yeah,
It's
Elon.
an old
That
story,
is
but yeah,
right.
I'm glad it's getting more attention.
Yeah,
God.
literally. I actually read. I don't know if you saw the Wizard of the Coast not posted, sorry, but they published like a D&D in the 70s sort of book. But you need to read the first 2 pages about that. It's disgusting. I made a whole video about it. It's like, oh, this is so bad because it was made by white men. I'm not joking. I'm verbatim.
Yeah, legit.
Verbatim. And it was insane. I was like, you've got to be joking. Like, literally, if you remove white and put any other color, this wouldn't fly.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's the
I want to say
reality
that
of
the
it.
author of the book was on a podcast and he basically kind of covered a lot of that stuff. So yeah, it's kind of fucked up that they're basically trashing the legacy of their game.
They are saying
Wizards
half races are racist, and so they want to
Yeah.
remove. And
Yep.
I'm like, hold on a minute, that's the opposite. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, like it's like even
Their
the
priorities are
logic
fucked
of
up.
it. The
Wizards of the
logics of it.
Coast has lost its mind. It is an insanely
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
But this is the
possessed
same
company.
company that made Orcs Mexicans, all right? So there's that.
No, it's a mess. Like they were talking about how, and it's a shame because the artists are great. Did you see the new editions, like of the manuals, Game Master and Player? I went through them. I thought they were
I
beautiful.
saw the dwarf baking the cookies. I saw
Yeah.
that one.
With
and-
matching beards.
With
I
his
remember that one.
boyfriend's beard tattooed on his
Yeah.
arm.
Yeah,
that
with his
one.
boy.
Is that Black Aragorn? Or am I thinking something else?
That's Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, that's Magic the
Same
Gathering. You know,
company,
with,
though.
with
Also
D&D,
owned by Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
you know.
same
Yeah.
company.
as
All
long
right,
as
no-
they don't remove everything, like as long as they don't remove systematically every white person from the thing, if they also want to add other people, I don't mind. It's when it becomes anti-white that it pisses me off.
Yeah, and they
I don't
destroy.
have a problem with people with like, if you want to put a black warrior in there, put it. I don't care. Fine.
Well, they also had a problem with them using the term fighting man, which is fucking
True.
accurate.
True. You're right.
Yeah,
You're
That
right.
class is called Fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're in parody world. Darth Hawk Gaming for $2. Metatron earbuds. Ooh, there you go. There's some merch there for you, Metatron.
Oh, great. Splendid. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Crazy Clown Town for $20. As an American, I want my Livermorny store. My what? My live. What is that, X-Ray girl? It says Livermorny.
I don't know. I tried
What's
to
a
figure
liver
it
morning?
out, but I
I've
don't
heard that
know.
expression before.
Oh, I want an
Livermorny?
American Wizard story, and I'm not talking about QBG Society.
Isn't yeah, that's the isn't that the American Wizarding School?
Is it?
No,
It might be.
Is
It might be.
Yeah, I think so.
Is that from Pottermore? Whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, dude. Further on in that article, it talks about like MuggleNet going against J.K. Rowling. I would fucking squash MuggleNet if I were her. I would just like.
You're
fuck
talking about
you.
Ilvermorny, not Livermorny.
It says Livermore. Is it ill?
Oh,
They
maybe
mean
because the
Ilvermorny,
eyes capitalized.
Maybe a mistype.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Capital I, lowercase L. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it looks like liver. Okay.
Yeah.
There we
I
go.
can't read anyway, so
My
just
bad.
blame me.
It looked like that too. I would have read it that way.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
it's the fault of the language.
No, it's I was a product of the California public school system. I can barely spell my name, and I was
Yeah, I
kicked
don't
out
know
of
if
it.
I don't know if you remember 3 hours ago, Metatron, when we had to sit and listen to Gary try to get through that fucking deadline article or whatever it was about J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
I thought I did pretty good on that. Thanks, Ryan. Fuck you. Progress, not perfection.
I like how
Bloodhaven
Ryan's
ABC
held
for
a grudge
$10.
the entire show.
Holy shit! I finally got off in time to see FNT live for the first time. Oh, I'll give you that one of these.
Nice.
Hail the Fellowship. Hail the 199. Hail Ryan's forehead. Yes. Haha. Roast
Thank
Ryan.
you.
Edgy Orphan for $5. Never thought I'd see gentlemen like Metatron here, but glad he is. Great content. Hail.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He's classing up the place. Don't get used to it.
You're better than us, is what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, yes. I mean, Armand for 2069. FNT continues to be my favorite version of Hollywood Squares. Hey, we're like the
Aw.
retarded version of Hollywood Squares. And Metatron is center square. AK Rex for 10 euros. Oh, no, sorry. I apologize to the UK. British pounds, proper money.
Pound sterling.
Pound sterling. Raphael and Shad, can I send you my rules draft for a medieval tabletop game project that I am working on to play test and get feedback? If so, where can I send it? Thanks and have a great evening, y'all.
Ooh.
Best way is to try and get your friends enthused about it and build interest organically. You don't want to rely on people like us to be successful, because that's not the best way to do it. Make something great, get attention, and then it might attract our eyes, and we'll be like, oh, this is interesting. We'll give it a look.
Not to mention that it would take me a year. This is how slow I am.
Yeah.
Armand for 2069. FNT continue. Oh, I read that one. X-ray go. It's all your fault.
Double down.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's my fault.
You blow it.
I just lashed out at you. That one Ginger Draven for $4.99. Shad and Disparu. I'm reading Stormlight books, and I can't help but think of Rings of Power when these characters have a Tempest in them, but still great books.
Oh, they're phenomenal.
Yeah, they're amazing. And I know some people complain that every character in it is broken, but it's actually integral to the plot. So
I was a consultant on Stormlight 3, and I'm interested in what will happen in Stormlight 4.
Okay.
Very interested.
I've got those audio.
Isn't it out like
it's coming soon. It's coming soon.
Wait, what's it like to have a book you're interested in coming out?
Oh, well,
Feels great,
read
Gary.
recently, Brandon Sanders, he was like, this book will finishes the first half of the series, and it's going to be like a second half. And before this, I'm going to have to finish another trilogy, and then I'm writing 2 more Elantris books, and then I'll get back to the other 5. And you're like, yeah, that's fine. That'll
I
take
just
him
need
like
to become
a year.
a fan of
It'll
this
be
guy.
okay.
Fuck it. I'm going to start reading this shit. I'm just going to do it.
Man.
I'm just
Dive
going to
into
do it.
Miss
I've got a
Ford.
bunch on Audible ready to go. I'll fire it up on my drive home to Texas.
Yeah, start with Mistborn. Brandon Sanderson, incredible author. And,
Get into an author who
true.
finishes a book once in a while. I think that's pretty safe advice. Judah for $10. I think I'm addicted to you. The week doesn't end till I see you again. 6 days out of sight. It feels like a bad fight every Friday night. I have to do this right because I think I'm addicted to you.
I'm addicted.
Is that a song?
I'm addicted to
There's no meetings for FNT. You're here forever. Rum Soak Gamer, 2 parts for $40. I missed most of Comic-Con due to work, but managed to catch the Saturday panel. Got to meet you and the drinker at the last possible minute, so intros were rushed, awkward, but you both brimmed with graciousness and badassery. Thank you. Thanks for making it to this lonely state. Hope next time I can buy you fellas a drink. Hell, we'll be back. I think we'll be back. For one, I'm up here a lot, up here in Wisconsin. It's just across the lake. Although I have to drive around it. It's a big fucking lake. It's a great lake. Shad likes gay movie. Least surprising news ever. Says $10.
I said I liked parts, but I was mostly bored. That was and I could acknowledge
I don't know. You have complimented it many times throughout the episode.
You've kind of gone.
It was like, I really like it, but I need to preserve my image.
We're a week away from it becoming Cinderella.
I can say it's a good movie. I said I was mostly bored. Look, it's not Twilight. That's all I'm saying.
We're going to come back. It's going to be like Twilight with all the merch. He's going to immediately actually, where did you get that? Where'd you get that hoodie?
Oh yeah, they're going to start comparing notes and shopping. That's what they're going to do. It's like, oh my God, that sweatshirt looks so
think the
cute
green
on
would
you,
really
Shad.
bring out my eyes.
Steve Daly on for $5. Why don't you have chat on the screen in the box on the right-hand corner so that you never have to worry about losing it like Asmongold? Shout out West Texas, because Asmongold is the only guy in the stream, and to put the box in, we'd have to
exactly.
It would make us very small. Plus, my goal is to keep the chat up so you can just watch it here and on Rumble and watch, because the chat is part of the show. It's a very important part of the show. But I could definitely do that for streams where isn't 9 to 10 people in here.
For solo streams that you do or whatever, that's
one
thing. But there's so many people, it's already rough.
Yeah. Cole
I know you
Hauser,
really want to see us like our incredible faces so up close.
you don't want to miss this handsomeness, do you?
Yeah.
55-year-old, middle-aged, recovering alcoholic. Nothing hotter.
Just the experience of reading chat in the chat window, it's far higher resolution and everything than by the time it's gone through multiple renders and streams and everything.
Yeah.
But the goal is to keep the chat up. Because
otherwise, X-Ray Girl and Chrissy put all their makeup on for nothing, for no reason. You couldn't
Think
see
about them. Why do you hate women?
Yeah.
And the,
I have
and the
my
twin
reasons.
emperors,
I'm just wondering,
and the
yeah.
twin emperors who had makeup on for some reasons.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
This
They were
medieval? Like, what the
flamboyant.
fuck's going on?
No, they should have waited 10 years and cast Elagabalus. He put makeup on because he wasn't Roman.
I actually think one of the messages of the movie was gay people are evil.
That's what I got out of it. I was shocked, Ryan. I was absolutely shocked.
Yeah, I respected it. Yeah.
Cole Hauser for
Basically.
22 Canadian pesos says, praise Ra, and actress Sherry Belafonte has a bigger forehead than Ryan. That's true. All right. We're going to get the rest on Monday. So Monday we'll be dual streaming the Nooner again, and I'll get the rest. Sorry, we couldn't get them all in time constraints because I'm traveling. Why not? Oh.
And we talked a lot.
And we have.
We did.
There was a lot to talk about today.
There's a lot to talk about. And we have a Rumble bonus hour. We still got time to go.
Yeah,
So
some weeks it's like, okay, I guess we'll talk about this kind of weird movie that no one cares about. And then other weeks it's like this. And there's a million things going on.
dude, I could talk for 2 hours about like just all the streaming shows that I've liked that are so much better than anything that comes out in the fucking theater. I could recommend. It's nice to recommend things. It's nice to have things to recommend right now.
I watched Twisters again yesterday.
That's a decent movie, dude.
It's solid. I like it.
I liked it too. It's got Superman in it.
It does, and it's like, bro, it's hard. I guess he's playing Clark Kent, you know, in this movie. So it's kind of what it feels like, at least.
Yeah,
with his glasses.
But it's not. Yeah, it's a solid movie, and we're starting to get more just solid movies, and hopefully they'll lean more into that and just give us something fun to watch. And then we can start breaking down the other problems, because the creative bankruptcy one is a huge one. That's like, they really need. I'll bring it up again before we close. In the superhero fatigue article that a bunch of people wrote, but then Forbes did a bigger one based on another article, they mentioned a guy who said, and I can't believe he said this in public, and he's a market analyst. He said, well, there isn't any other genre to take over, so we're just going to keep making superhero shit because it's all we got.
Wow.
That's fucking terrible. Your industry is dead if that's the case.
But to your point about being able to critique other things, that's one thing I liked about The Joker 2, is that because it was competently made, it allowed you to talk about deeper things in the movie and the plot and the motivations and stuff, rather than just, this is badly directed, badly written, none of the script makes sense, the characters are awful. And so it was nice to be able to actually talk about something in more depth.
Yeah, like there's parts of Gladiator 2 that are well shot. I mean,
the photography,
Ridley Scott's
it's a pretty movie.
A legend.
Yeah, some of the action actually was fun. Like there were
like
moments.
I don't
Your
think
mom is hot.
I don't feel like it was a bad movie. I feel like it was a very mid movie.
No,
but it's the follow up of one of the greatest movies we've had in the last couple decades.
Right.
So it's impossible to separate it from that.
Yeah, it's a letdown, is what it is.
It's incredibly boring to boot.
What I
Beginning is boring.
Going to be was like Rambo 2 to Rambo, okay, or to to First Blood. Rambo 2 to First Blood. First Blood is a movie. It is a drama. And then Rambo 2 is just bonkers fucking, action film. And I love both of them, by the way.
Terminator did it well, though. Terminator 1 and 2 were both great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Terminator 2.
Terminator 2.
With the liquid guy, the T-1000.
That was mind-blowing when it came out. It was.
And then obviously Terminator 3 just took it to the next level.
Yeah, certainly did.
I like the Terminator 2
It made
trailer
boobs
that
grow.
spoiled the twist in the trailer. It's like, look, this guy's who you
when you
think
got
he
to see the boobs grow, that really pulled me into the film. So
I remember that as right with a girl. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Metatron, for being here. Thanks,
Thank you.
Critical Drinker. Thanks to the Nerdrotics. Thanks to everyone who left super chat donation. You keep the lights on again. Square up Monday, nooner, 11 a.m. on Nerdrotic Live and Rumble, dual streaming there. And we'll be back next week with
Papa Gundam.
People were just asking, like, are you mad at Gundam? It's like, we had him on recently. I'm never mad at Gundam. I freaking love Gundam. All right.
Like
Gundam's my
he
boy.
comes on when he wants to come on, right?
Yeah.
When he's ready to crawl out of his alcoholic, weed-induced depression
And
for
it's a question
4
of
hours.
whether
hang
he's
out.
gonna show up. But no, Gundam's a legend. So love him. And he'll be back next week. And we're gonna head over to Rumble right now. You got this one, X-Ray Girl? Because I don't know how to do it.
Bye, YouTube.
Bye.
See you.
Bye, YouTube. And we're on Rumble, so we're there.
No, wait.
We're almost there.
Quickly.
Almost there.
Oh no!
Wait.